right, Cowboy Nation. The Dallas Cowboys lose 28-24. We can't get over ourselves, and I hear the little press conference from Jason Garrett, pretty much the same old talk, and we didn't execute. That's what he's going to say. He thought that he had a good look from Ezekiel Elliott to go multiple times Ezekiel Elliott way, and we loses the game. And that's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. Same old situation. My thing is the word insanity. And somebody can put a definition in the chat box, man, and put me down for that, because doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's the word of the day, insanity. And so far, that's what we've been living through during this administration. To me personally, I hate losing. I hate it to the core. There's nothing worse than losing to something that you're supposed to win in. That's how I look at it. When you lose to something you're supposed to win in, it'd be a different story if it was 28-3, 28-10, 14. If like they jumped up 14-0 and they continue to keep that energy all throughout, it'll be a different story. But this type of situation, the way we lost was the exact same way we've been losing. Oh my goodness. We are making second and third year head coaches' mistakes. Second, and let that sink into your mental. I'm not saying that Jason Garrett is a horrible guy. Shout out to those that's on my Facebook panel, Matt, Vincent, Rasheem, and all you guys. Gambino was good. But I'm not saying that Jason Garrett is a horrible guy. But this is 10 years of coaching. It's like 12 years of slavery. It's like we looking at this situation when you're not getting past, no matter what you're doing, you continue to do the exact same thing. You have that defeative mindset. When you do have the no nuts, no glory situation, it's too late. This has been going on for far too long, Cowboy Nation. The ups and downs, the downs and ups. I wish I could lie to kick it. I wish I could. But the reality of it is that you have Ezekiel Elliott, the quote-unquote best running back in the league, averaging 2.7 yards per carry. On 2nd and 2, you go and you run up the middle. There was somebody that was saying, Law, I pray and I hope that we don't run the ball up the middle. And that's exactly what the Cowboys did. Not once, but twice. Twice. You don't put your quarterback in a situation to roll. You don't put your quarterback in a situation where he can have the option to roll out. If you don't play the situation where you got the linebacker, you can freeze him out in space. Put him in a situation where it's either he gonna have to take out one guy or the other. Look, so far on reverse sweeps and jet sweeps, we average 7.5 yards per carry off of that. Boy, my math is, I'm not the smartest and brilliant guy as it relates to math numbers, but 7 is a whole lot greater than 2 yards. Let me know if I'm wrong. And for anybody to say, yeah, Jason Garrett, he should not be to blame. He's not the one that making the tackles. Jason Garrett is not the one that dropping the balls. Matter of fact, Jason Garrett is not even calling the plays. But you know what? In my house, I pay every bill that's here, or I'm responsible for paying the bills that's here. And if they come out here and cut off my lights, you think that they're going to look at the Tyrone across the street and say, hey, you didn't pay this bill. You think that the energy company is going to look at him and say, hey, you should pay Law's bill. No. The buck stop here, baby. I'm the head of my household. And I'll be dogged and grim if I let anybody come walking through my house, sitting down on my couch, putting their shoes on my sofa, kicking their feet back, eating the food out of my eating the food that I purchased with my money. At some point, there should be a stabilized identity with this team. I'm mad about this loss. I really is.
You, after kicking a 57-yarder earlier, you probably should go for it on that 4th and 4 spot. that Tavon Austin, I'd be interested to hear if he was told to fair catch the punt.
Right.
Because if he doesn't, he's got about 30 yards in front of him and maybe the whole sideline. But to me, it all boils down to it's so hard for me to even get to, hey, the defense wasn't good enough. They had a drive where they ran the ball 10 straight times right down your throat and exhausted and snatched the will from your defense. And when they finally scored on a 4th down run, 4 Dallas Cowboys couldn't stand up for 10 seconds. They were so winded. But I really just can't get past the fact that your quarterback was so good and your run game was so bottled up and you insisted on using your run game and putting your quarterback in hole after hole after hole. That's got to be incredibly frustrating for Dak Prescott.
I get it.
Right.
The defense did not play well, and it's an easy target. But as I've said multiple times, and a lot of people will say it, this is an offensive league. You are going to have games in which good offenses are going to outscore bad defenses consistently. You've got to be able to put up 30 points. And this is an identity crisis game for a team that is committed to its ground game to its detriment. And this is a game where that commitment lost them the football game.
True.
100%.
You had to air it out to get 30 points. 30 points was the magic number in this football game. 31 was the number staring at you. You would have won the game with 31, and yet you continually ran the football down the stretch, not just in that final drive, that final fateful drive where you got stuffed on 2nd and 3rd and 4th down.
Talk
but
to
on
him.
the previous drive where you ran the football on every single first down of that drive. It's an identity crisis. This team is committed to being a ground team, and in this game, it was to the detriment of this football team.
And really, in a way, not in a way, they deserve to lose this game. Because leading up to those 2 plays, where even though you're just slinging the ball all over the place and they can't stop you, leading up to that, you had been doing the same thing, and you can't overcome that forever. You can't ask your quarterback to overcome 2nd and long and 3rd and long all game long and think that's going to play out over the long haul. Eventually it catches up, and it caught up on their second to last drive of the game when they handed the ball off twice from 2nd and 2. Do you think they convert that if they let the quarterback throw 3 times?
Yes.
It's 2nd and 2, and he's got an opportunity to keep doing what he's doing. Instead, they say, no, we'll give you a chance when it's 4th and 5. One shot.
7 carries for 3 yards over the final 2 possessions. That's what lost the Cowboys.
Silly stuff.
47 yards. We want to hear from you. 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number. 877-881-1053. Tonight's game between Minnesota Vikings and Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium is brought to you by Ford. Ford is the...
I can't make this stuff up, Cowboy Nation. And shout out to those. There's Chad Davis, man, that's on the Facebook panel. And shout out to Andrea. My thing is, you know for sure, we was averaging 2.7 yards per carry. And I believe that this team looks at it like this. Just hear me out. It's all about jazz. It's all about showboating. We heard more stories about what color of jersey we're going to wear. We talked about the cat that ran out on the field. We making T-shirts and things like that, which is cool. I see the fun and game of it, but we're not talking about execution out there as it relates to game planning. Look, we didn't execute well. Oh, we didn't lose. Look, we've been hearing that same mantra for 10 years now. You know for sure that your running back, of course, you paid him all of the money. You wanted him to get a touchdown. You wanted him to show up a Dalvin Cook, which is cool. I understand that. But dog it, prove it out there on the field. Law, you just pulling for weak straws. No, I got some proof on that. Tune into All or Nothing. Watch their series. And when they talked about the fact that they wanted to give Daz Bryant the ball against, what's that guy name? The Giants kid. I forgot his name already. Janoris Jenkins. They wanted to set the record against him. They went all the way down. We was manipulating, moving the ball. We got to the 1. They went to Dez Bryant 3 times. That's what I'm saying. It's all about showboating. It's all about style points. When we never just worry about playing the game and play the game. Beat the opposition. Do what got you there. It was 2nd and 2. We started from the 95-yard line. We started off on that drive. Let me know when I'm lying. We moved the ball all the way from the goal line to get all the way down to 2nd and 2. And then all of a sudden we can't execute. We didn't do what got us there. We trying to run the rock. And like the guy said that was in my feed, I was live on Instagram and I'm live right here on Facebook and on YouTube. Said, hey, I just don't want them to run the ball up the middle. And guess what we did? But it's not Jason Garrett's fault.
Company, sir.
It's not his fault. It's our fault, right? It's the kicker fault, right? That's how we got to look at it now. We got to look at it as the kicker fault. If he'd have nailed that 57-yard kick, and then all of a sudden we'd have got down there to where we was at, we would have walked off with a 1-point win, right? We started from the 5-yard line. Shout out to you, CJ, man. Really appreciate you. So we started all the way from the 5-yard line to get all the way upfield. And for us to do 3 bonehead plays in a row. Somebody let me know when they back live on the 105.3 The Fan. Really appreciate them for the
radio.com.
We'll see what they talking about, man. Coaches need to do their job. This is from Andrea. Yeah.
Now he's going to.
And we find ways. It seems like, to me personally, instead of us finding ways to win a game, it's looking like, how can we lose the game? Let's find ways to lose the game, you see. That's how it looks like to me. I could be 100% wrong. We just find ways to lose it. We just find ways.
Lose very disappointingly, 28-24. A game they went down 14-0, then came back, but end up not coming up a little bit short. We're from Zeke Elliott coming up, also Leighton Vander Esch on the way. Your phone calls as well at 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. They were down 14-0, another slow start, couldn't get anything going. And then all of a sudden it turned on an Amari Cooper conversion on 3rd and long. And the Cowboys started rolling. They put 14 on the board to tie it up. And it looked like the offense was rolling behind Dak Prescott. And the defense got some stops down the stretch of this game. Some mistakes were made. But ultimately it comes down to the end-of-game play calling in which the Cowboys looked like they were going to have a touchdown and take a lead with 24 points on the board to get that 7 and take a lead potentially. But they took a really slow opportunity, ran the football consistently, and just did not avoid running it. And that's just the biggest story in this game, Jeff Kavanaugh.
Yeah, and they had other opportunities. I mean, they had a 21-20 lead at one point in this game, and they promptly had Minnesota run the ball on 10 straight plays and score a touchdown on the defense. So,
but that's an example of a team knowing what its strength is in this particular game and continuing to use it, as opposed to the Cowboys,
right,
who did the exact opposite.
Well, and the Vikings kind of had everything going. The Vikings were able to throw the ball. They were able to run the ball. The screen game was working really well. They were able to convert 3rd downs. Kirk Cousins was doing some of what Dak was doing. He didn't have to do it as often because they were able to run the ball. But, yeah, the Cowboys went the other direction with it. Despite the fact that it was established you can't run the ball tonight, they decided to keep trying to the tune of 20 carries for Zeke, and ultimately you end up with a loss.
877-881-1053. Michelle is calling in from Arlington. Go ahead, Michelle. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yeah, hello?
Yep.
This is Rochelle in Arlington. Thanks for the call. I just want to say I'm so upset about this game.
Right.
It is.
Should be.
It's every season for the last 8 or 9, 10 years that we don't attack. When we're throwing the ball, we're doing good. Dak to Cooper, we're gelling, we're going down there, we're going to score. And then you go back to this running game that wasn't producing. And you give the ball 3 times.
It's maddening, Rochelle. Appreciate the phone call, 877.
Rochelle got more passion than half of the Cowboys today. Boy, I'm telling you. Shout out to her.
Just like the Vikings, when they were running the football consistently well in that drive, they kept with it. Cowboys seemed like, to the detriment of the offense and the rhythm they're in, they just kept running the ball despite themselves. It was just a stubborn commitment to trying to run the football. 20 carries for 47 yards. It's inexplicable. The final 2 drives of this game, 7 carries for 3 yards, Jeff.
Yeah, and Jason Garrett said it when he was at the podium. The Vikings were paying a lot of attention to your run game. So if you wanted to be able to run the ball, you have to wait until they basically show you with how many people that are in the box that, hey, you may run the ball now. Because if they're not going to change what they're doing defensively while Dak Prescott is out there throwing for almost 400 yards, then you don't change what you're doing offensively. You do what works. And to go away from that, I thought it was insane.
When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Our own Chris Arnold's able to catch up with Zeke Elliott after
Come
this
on,
game.
let me hear what
Chris?
Zeke got to say.
Zeke, this is a tough loss tonight. I know nobody in this locker room is very happy right now. Could you talk about what you guys are thinking about coming into this locker room after this tough loss?
Yeah, definitely a tough loss. They're a really good football team. Started slow. We battled back and gave ourselves a chance, and we didn't get the job done.
To go straight to the point, a lot of people are looking at that third down play. Could you describe the play and what was called and what you were trying to accomplish, trying to get this game in the Cowboys' favor at the end there?
Just RPO. It was a good read.
Dallas
really
did not
wasn't
do
right.
the one thing we needed them to do. Start fast.
JD,
Come on, man.
JD, really appreciate it for the donation to help grow the nation, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, run defense. They did a great job just neutralizing our run and just really giving us nowhere all day to run the ball.
And one final thing from me, could you talk about Amari's game? I know he's not happy with the loss, but he was excellent out there.
Yeah, all those guys, all the receivers in Dak, they definitely had a great outing. They couldn't stop the pass. They definitely did great tonight.
There's Zeke Elliott visiting our own Chris Arnold after this one.
You know what? I watch so much football in my life, and I never, and I gotta tell you this, I gotta say this. After a loss, Emmitt Smith sound like that. These guys get so much money, I believe, and I know it's just a sport. But the '90s Cowboys, when we lose games like this, But these guys get millions of dollars. They get hit. They lose it. They don't feel it like we do. Well, I know we not out there on the field. How shame of you, Law, to say that. You're not out there on the field. You're not putting your blood, sweat, and tears out there like they are. But I don't hear it. Do you guys hear it? Do you hear the frustration in his voice? It seems like it's a walk in the park. Hey, it seems like, hey, did you check the mailbox today, Law? No, I didn't check the mailbox today. But, if I go out there tomorrow, I believe that the mailbox that was left, the mail that was left yesterday will be out there tomorrow. And I'll just check it tomorrow. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me, man.
Participating.
They on commercial break, but I just don't like that mindset. I want somebody to go in that locker room and be so mad that you hear some commotion going on, some furniture being moved, somebody cussing out somebody saying, "Don't talk to me, reporter." I want that type of stuff. I don't like this laissez-faire. Let me know if you guys love that type of energy. Let me know if everybody should be able to feel comfortable with a loss and say, you know what, we'll get them next year. Man, but this is the type of team that we feeling that is going to host a Lombardi Trophy. It's about the small things, fam. It's not all about winning every game, about losing every game, but it's how you lose and how you feel like, hey, they should be all frustrated like we are right now. Shout out to you, Scott, man, for making the donation to help grow this nation, man. Why not use Pollard and 3 plays to Zeke? Shaking my head. They don't do that. Yeah. I mean, it's not a look. The best way I can say is just Tony Pollard is a gadget guy, flat out gadget guy. Not in real life, but how the Cowboys utilize Tony Pollard is gadgetry. Yeah. A change of culture is needed. Yeah. I mean, this team is so doggone talented that we'll win you just enough games to say, well, it's really not the coaching fault. That's what this team would do. And we won't lose enough games to get one of those high calibers as it relates to draft picks and something like that. We're always going to pick anywhere in the 20s. You see what I'm saying? So we're not going to really get that game changer. And we're always going to make some type of reasons of why we should get that draft pick and utilize that draft pick. But whenever I turn on TV, I'm seeing a Jamal Adams making plays. Whenever I turn on TV, I'm seeing a Minka Fitzpatrick making plays. But we want to hold on all our draft picks. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we should give up some asset to get the draft that we want, the picks that we want. But this is the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys. Been going on for over 10 years now. Let's see what
the clock for them. So I'm not going to question the play calling. there were opportunities. We've just got to do better and execute those plays. Simple as that. And every guy in that locker room would say that.
Did they do anything defensively you weren't expecting?
Not at all. They're a defense that's confident in who they are, confidence in the front four getting the job done and playing shell, and that's what they did all night long, sprinkled in the single high, and everything that they've done all year long was nothing surprising.
How'd they slow down Zeke?
One more time?
How'd they slow down Zeke?
Yeah, I mean, I handed off right and bootleg out. I've got to go back and look at film. I don't have those answers for you.
Dak, we've seen consistently this team's had trouble with slow starts. What was it tonight? What was different about it tonight, falling behind 14-0?
Yeah, I mean, we were down 14-0. We came back. We came back and gave ourselves a chance. 14-14. It's a 0-0 ball game at that point. Slow start or not, we've got to stop doing that. But we got over that, right? We overcame that, and as I said, gave ourselves an opportunity.
Could you talk about Amari's play tonight? Going into the game, it looked like there might be some opportunities, but he was excellent.
One more time?
Amari?
Right.
Mm-hmm. It looked like going into the game with their secondary, you might have a chance to exploit it, but for him, it was exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, did a great job. He did what Amari Cooper does, right? Take advantage of his opportunities, threw him the ball, made some unbelievable sideline catches all night long. Just showed up. Does what he's done his whole career and his time here at the Cowboys.
There were several times where you guys were in 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 14s, and you were able to convert. What was working there for you guys?
Yeah, just great play calling, being able to get back. Offensive line did a great job protecting, just went through the reads and trusted it and let it rip. And guys continuously made plays, and we did well.
Dak, anybody watching this game tonight is going to say they took the ball out of your hands, that you were red hot, you were killing them. That 2nd and 3rd down call there in the 4th quarter.
I know he ain't going to say it. I know he ain't going to say it.
They took the ball out of your hands.
He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it.
And by doing so, that hurt your team's chances to win the game. Do you further agree or disagree?
I agree with the guys in the locker room and that play calling. I mean, as I said, you ask that offensive line, you ask the running back, they're going to say that they need to execute those plays. We get that first down. Nobody in here is even talking about that they took the ball out of my hands, right? So it comes down to execution. We just got to execute those plays. And as I said, those linemen would say that, the running back would say that, the whole team would say that. We're not going to talk about what we should have done, what we could have done. We just got to learn from it and do better next time.
Those 3 sideline catches by Amari were just spectacular. How much do you guys work on that during the week?
When they come up, they come up. That's kind of just playing ball right there. Just rolling out, trying to make a play. He's just an exceptional playmaker, and you just got to give him a chance, and he just made the plays over and over.
Dak, as you moved off your 5-yard line and headed toward their goal line with a chance to win the game on that last series, did you start to get the sense that you had a chance to do something monumental in your season at that point?
For sure. I mean, the ball was in my hands, so I couldn't ask for anything else. And I said we had a great job, a great drive toward the offensive line there. We're going to go down there and 90-plus yards, and we're going to stick it in the end zone. And 4th down, the ball in my hand, I can't ask for anything more than that. Just got to make the play, got to make a throw that we can capitalize and get the first down on. And, yeah, I can't ask for anything else but the ball in my hand in that situation.
So it's safe to say you would have been okay if they would have kept the ball in your hand all the way.
What are you going to say?
I mean, it's safe to say, I throw the ball every play of the game. So, that's the obvious part, right? So, for sure.
Goodness.
Could you talk about the Jason Witten attempt at the touchdown and what you saw on that play, and were you surprised everybody else that there was no flag?
I'm not surprised anymore about flags, getting them or not getting them. I just play the game. I said it last week. I just play the game. I'm going to let them ref, and I'm going to play the game the best I can, and I'm not going to sit there and ask. I'm not going to sit there and beg, or if we get it, we get it. We had a lot of situations in this season where they're obviously controversial. We've been asked about it. So for me, it's about playing the game, just trying to execute it, and keeping the refs out of it, to be honest.
Where do you think you guys
Why you challenge that play,
5-4 tied with Philly with 7 games to go?
Yeah, you just said it. 5-4 tied for first place, I guess, in this division.
I told you I would say that.
And we're on to next week. We're on to a tough road game going up north. We've just got to go win that game one day at a time. This team will. That's how we're going to take it. That's our approach. I've said it before. We're going to lock arms. We're going to get better. This tape has a lot for us to learn from. Sure, it's not the outcome that we wanted, but it has a lot for us to learn from and to grow from, and we will, and we'll move and become better because of it.
I feel like you guys missed an opportunity to make a statement of what you guys can be.
Absolutely.
Where are you? Green Bay, New Orleans, now this one. What kind of team are you guys?
Still learning.
We're a confident team. We're not going to let anybody outside of that locker room, get in between us. We're going to stay close together. We're going to just keep working, put our head down and do exactly that. We still control our own destiny. As long as we can do that, we can't ask for anything more. Thank you.
Thanks, Dak.
That is Dak Prescott on the Dallas Cowboys radio network as the Cowboys fall to the Vikings 28-24 here at AT&T Stadium. Ari Temkin and Jeff Cavanaugh with you on the Cowboys postgame show, Academy Sports and Outdoors.
You know what? We still learning. We learning on how not to shoot ourselves in the foot. The coaching staff, regardless of how you look at it, that's why they made that play reviewable. You still challenge that play when Jason Witten was in the end zone, money zone, green zone. And if you really trust your defense, you go for it then, you see. Scared money makes no money. You go for it then, but I believe at least that would have brought causes and attention to the fact that the guy was holding on to Jason Witten in that money zone, green zone. It goes back to the temperament of the coaching. It goes back to the philosophy of this staff. And this is the fourth year for Dak Prescott. Stop trying to say that we're learning from this. This is sound like echoing from the Jason Garrett administration. We are learning from it. No. Right now, you should already know who your team is. I love Dak Prescott. I believe that the team should go ahead and pay the man. But let's stop echoing if only, if. Because now what we're going to look back at is the exact same thing over and over again.
I feel bad for Doc. He played great.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for making a donation to help grow the nation. Mike, he says he feel bad for Dak. He played great. Really appreciate it. But the reality of it, we're still learning. From my understanding, we are still learning. We're still learning how to play defense. We're still learning how to play offense. We're still learning on which plays we should call. This is crazy. It's crazy to me. This is mid-season. We still learning.
Dallas Cowboys.
We are still learning. That was the whole thing that I took away from it. Yes, I'm going to play my game. The ref's going to do theirs. But also what I took back from all what he just said is that we are still learning. We are still learning as an organization. They say if you're not trying to learn something new every day, then you're not growing. I guess we're still growing. Shout out to you, David, man. Garrett has 9 years to learn. Yes, but you might as well round it up to 10. He had his fingerprints on his team for 10 years now. And I'm not saying just as the head coach, but also as the offensive coordinator, he's still learning. Let's just put the learning on Jason Garrett, right? It's not his fault that he's still learning. His team is still trying to figure out how to go against the opposition and how to learn from a team that plays a cover 2, cover 1 scheme. Zim defense is not that confusing. Thank you for the donation to help grow the nation, man. This is from Scott. I love our QB. Why Shannon Sharp blame it on him? Shaking my head. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's going to get. He's going to get all of that work action from the 4-letter network and beyond.
Just proud to be there.
Yeah, this is how it goes, man. Let's talk about the horrible play calling. This is from Carol on Facebook panel. Carol, that's just how it goes. We still learning. It's still a learning organization. Maybe next week we'll learn. We got our backs against the wall, and then we'll play a little bit better next week. We go on the road. Who we play next week, Cowboy Nation? Let me know. Let me know. We're going to be learning from them. We're going to be learning and saying that, okay, we made our adjustments. My thing is, and it's not nothing to learn from, when you know for sure we've been starting off slow since day one almost. We need to figure out how to put more money on the board in the first quarter. We can't look at it and say, well, I got it back to 14-14, now it's 0-0. No. Because if you understood and you played well on the front end, you could have had it at 21-14. Or you could have been the team that had it 14 to their 0, you see. You wouldn't have to scrap and fight at the end. But hopefully, we will learn from our mistakes, and on the remaining 7 games, we won't be looking at a slow start because we learned from it.
On the right side.
You know what I mean? Standalone Complex, man, really, really appreciate you for making a donation.
Not to get political, but the ex-Baylor Bears head coach Art Briles is available. Do you think Art Briles is an option for us at head coach?
That'll be too political. Boy, the media will have a field day on that, though. But Art Briles is a brilliant guy, but I don't think that he's head coach material for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that him and Jerry Jones will have too much playing off the field, so I don't think that that'll be happening.
39 yards on first down in the game. We brought this up earlier. They also, in the final 2 possessions of this football game, 8 of 14 passing for 113 yards. That's 14 yards per completion. They ran the ball 7 times for 3 yards. 5 of those 7 carries, the final 2 possessions, were for 1 yard or less. A stubborn commitment to a failing strategy. Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temke with you on the postgame show. Trying to find tickets to football games or any other live event can be complicated. There's hundreds of sites and shady pricing. With SeatGeek, you can do everything in one place. Search and discover the best deals on seats. Buy from any device and sell and transfer tickets in just a couple of taps. Best of all, listeners will get $20 off their first ticket purchase when they download the SeatGeek app. Use code BOYS at checkout. Let's go.
So I remember a few weeks ago, Kellen Moore was talking about how it's the greatest job in the world. If every time things go well, it meant that Kellen Moore did a great job, and if things don't go well, it's Jason Garrett's fault.
Right.
So I don't want to absolve Kellen Moore in this. It just seems very strange to me that a young, forward-thinking, college-style offensive guy who is empowered by the general manager to be in charge of an offense, that it would look like that. That would be surprising to me. But until I hear differently, Kellen Moore is calling the plays. It's Kellen.
Man, I got to stop there right quick, man. Jason Garrett always found him a scapegoat, and then on top of that, if anybody can ever question play calling and things like that, all you got to do is look up the Redskins team. What was that guy named Sean McVay? When he got his own team, when he got to the LA Rams, did he call plays the exact same way? Was the Redskins winning like they were? No. So we know that everything stops and comes down from the head. The fish rots from the head down. Oh Lord, you just pulling for straws again. Oh, I got another scenario. What's that coach down there in 49ers? When you got full range of your team, you're going to look differently. But when you call in plays under somebody else's plays, you still got to adhere to what they want you to do. That's just how it goes.
It's very disappointing. I think it's a little early in the year to be devastated.
Sure.
They've got half a season to play, and mathematically they can still finish 12-4. And personally, I thought they were going to finish 11-5, so they can still improve on that.
But devastating from a perspective of it looked like they were about to win this football game.
Would it have felt like they deserved to win it if they had?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it would have felt like Dak Prescott deserved to win the football game.
Yeah,
Dak and Amari.
I thought they were horrible defensively for most of the night.
Yeah, sure.
And you cannot be a one. They were already one-dimensional. I give Minnesota credit for that. They're very good. They took the running game away. And the Cowboys were good enough offensively to answer that with an amazing passing game. I thought defensively, for the most part, they were horrible. They did rally a couple of times. They forced, I think, 4 punts. They held them to the field goal one time. But you just can't get in a hole like that. You can be as critical, and we probably ought to be, as critical of the offensive execution on the first 2 possessions of the game instead of just looking at the last. Well, last one's what we remember because it could have potentially made a difference in the score. But so could it have made a difference if they could have done what they have been trying to do almost all year, and that is start better. And as far as the last, that next to the last series, the critical sequence, did the third down look to you like an RPO?
Yes.
Looked that way to me too. What's that mean?
That means you could pass it.
That means it's the option of the quarterback. So the quarterback was brilliant throwing the ball most of the night. And if he chose the option, if he had the option to hand the ball off or throw it somewhere, why is he not culpable? Why is it all on the... We say play calling. Well, you didn't like those plays. I question the third down one. And I have to look at the tape. Babe said, why are you throwing to your running back when these wide receivers have had the night they have? And I think that's a really legitimate question, and I don't know what else he saw till we look at the tape and see what else he had options of. And I don't know what he said, what Dak said about why he made the choices that he made. But, you know, they don't stand there on the sideline and say into the headset, okay, here, Dak, is what you're going to do.
Who the hell's calling the plays from the 5-yard line in? Jason Garrett should be fired. Need nose and D tackles.
What the look is, or I mean, he's got some culpability in that, just as he has
the acclaim,
the praise to be garnered for throwing the ball. I do think it's fair and surprise. I think it's fair to say what and surprising that when you have gotten from your own 6 down to the 15 one way, I had no problem with the second down run. I actually thought that was kind of a good change-up. Oh, yes, they still can do that, even though they weren't having success with it. But I didn't have any problem with that. Also, I wasn't a big fan of giving them a lot of time left on the clock after the score. So I wanted them to use as much of the clock as they could. But when the second down run didn't get anything, then to me it made a lot of sense to go on third down and then potentially on fourth down what they had done earlier in the game. But you know, as long as there's an RPO, as long as there's an option, then that doesn't mean that the play calling is not to be questioned. But it also means that the option that the quarterback chose has to be questioned.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of these things are going to go too well. We also are going to have to re-see this before we know for sure. But like my guess would be that Dak trusted whatever his reads were, and then they didn't execute the play. And so then you would go back to why not just drop back and pass like you'd been doing up and down the field.
Yeah, again, the second down I didn't have a problem with. And the third down I would question. The third down, I think that would make sense. I would have done that on third down. Love to see how they, and we both will at some point. We'll look back and see how they were covering the wide receivers and the tight end on third down. But yeah, I mean that to me would have made a great deal of sense. But those things always get magnified, and we tend to forget about what happened earlier. Jason Garrett will say if he didn't tonight, well, we didn't have but one possession in the third quarter. Well, that's right. You know why that is? Because your defense couldn't get them off the field. And so basically, Minnesota's a better team. Minnesota showed up for this game. The Cowboys weren't their equal. Now, by the end of the year, that might be different.
Quit lying, Brad, man. Minnesota's not a better team. They're not a better team. Don't put that poison out there for everybody to listen to hear that. They are not a better team. They was a well-coached team. Don't tell me that the Minnesota Vikings is better than the Dallas Cowboys.
They're now in.
The next
Tell me how you're a contender. Tell me why you're a contender.
That's exactly right. They've got a great chance to win the East, and they might be the Washington Nationals. We don't know. But if the question is Cowboys, tell me why we should think, based on what we've seen, that you are going to do that, then I don't know what the answer to that is right now.
Appreciate you, Brad. Thank you so
bet,
much.
boys. Have a good week.
Brad Sham joining.
There's no way that they down Adam Thielen and they are a better team. And then on top of that, if we utilize Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott at the same time on the backfield, come on, man. I don't want to hear that the Minnesota Vikings is a better team than the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, no way personally. Hey, we looked at that team and we saw that tonight we lost this game due to the way we call up and draw up plays, and also the way we called up on the defensive side of the ball as well. Don't y'all go home to yourselves and say that the Minnesota Vikings are better than the Dallas Cowboys. Don't put that out there. Don't echo that. Trust me. Don't echo that. And if y'all know anybody that does Viking talking, they can come on the show and talk to me, because we can break it down line by line. Come on now. There's no way. There's so many excuses to the fact that you saying that now that the quarterback, he had the read option or the RPO option. and then you go into 2nd and 2 in shotgun. Your running back is averaging 2.7 yards per play. Then on top of that, we know that the historical data that shows with a Minnesota Vikings team that they like to blitz in from the double A gaps. They like to blitz from the interior. They like to send their linebackers inside. And you mean to tell me and the fan that was in there in the chat earlier was saying that, hey, I just hope that we don't run the rock up the middle. What did we do? 2 times in a row, we ran the rock on 2nd and 2 up the middle out of shotgun. If anything, you line that baby up I formation, you put your 49 in there, which is the fullback, and you go power it in from there. If he's averaging 2.7 yards per play, oh my goodness, man! This team, man, we figure out ways. We figure out ways all day, man, to point the finger, and it's never ever the coaching. It's never ever the coaching. Matter of fact, I put it like this: if Jimmy Johnson was coaching this team, we would have lost in the same fashion. Do you guys believe that? Huh? If Jimmy Johnson was coaching this team, we would have lost in the same fashion. If Bill Belichick was coaching this team, we would have lost in the same fashion. Give me another coach that we consider a premium coach that's been coaching for a while. But we'll figure out ways to say, hey, you know what? It's really not Rob Marinelli's fault. Somebody pull up Rob Marinelli's resume. Let me know what he did since Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why did he got the axe? What happened to him? I formation. He accused that I formation is a great play. Oh, hey, how many toss sweeps are we doing? How many times we pull number 52 on the outside so we can see some him get kicked out to the edge? How many times we got Ezekiel Elliott, who I believe is a good running back, but he's a tad bit slower, right? But how many toss plays we give him? How many times we going to continue to run Ezekiel Elliott out of shotgun? If Sean Payton, well, he lost bad today, huh? Oh my goodness, Mike Tomlin, it is what it is, Cowboy Nation.
Safe.
It is what it is. Shout out to Jonathan that's on my Facebook panel. Really appreciate you. The pass was interference on with the Vikings. Jason Garrett should have shoot the flag. Yes, Jonathan. He should at least put the flag out there. At least that would have brought attention. They would at least brought some type of attention to the officials. At least we would have been talking about, hey, there was another play that we put out a review and it was not overturned. We do our best to beat ourselves. This is from Junior. Yes. Bring up Urban Meyer. This is Gracia. I don't know. Hire Lincoln Riley. Yeah. Robert. We continue to do the same things over and over again, expecting different results. And then when the coach wins, we get these little corny, crafty conversations saying, hey, I don't see the fire Coach Garrett talking now. And I said, just wait. And then when we lose, fire Coach Garrett. How many times are we going to be fickle with this process of back and forth with Coach Garrett? I just think that sometimes you got to, it's crazy, man. Sometimes you just got to restart the computer.
SWBC.
Sometimes you got to, man. I worked on several projects before. And you know how it says update your computer now, and you working on that project, and you saying like, man, I don't want to hit that update right now. I want to continue to work with what I got. But everything is glitchy. Everything is slow. Sometimes, unfortunately, you got to hit that reset button and restart it. It's been 10 years. Be a different story. It would be if this was year 3, year 2. Sometimes you got to hit that restart button. I don't know about you all. Yes, it could be. We can go on a run now and win all these games. But I recall, I'm going to ask you guys, in your heart of hearts, it's the Super Bowl. Do you think that magically these type of efficiencies is going to go away? In your heart of hearts, look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, do you think a game like this is not going to ever show up again? Let that sink in. Really appreciate you, Q, man, for the donation to help grow the nation, man. Who punched Jason? Nah, his eyes were black. I don't know. The reality punched Jason in his eyes.
WHO punched Jason Garrett in the eye. His eye was black.
Kick a field goal there. We've been looking at a tie game, right? So I know we all look at the last possession. So throwing the ball from the 6 didn't work. So now throwing the ball from the 11 is going to work.
Well, Mickey, they were 8 of 14 for 113 yards. The final 2 drives.
I know.
They ran the ball 7 times for 3 yards.
I got you.
Final 2 drives.
I got you. But that other possession, they threw it.
But that they were 8 of 14 for 113 yards.
Mickey don't like facts, but go ahead.
The field goal and the drive.
I understand.
It's 14 yards of completion.
I got you.
Okay.
But they didn't need 14, right? That was the problem. They probably got too close. The other thing, and Dak mentioned it in there, they might have got greedy, that they didn't want to give him the ball back.
Yeah, that has to come secondary to getting 7
and
points.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? But
Right.
I've heard that argument
But
before
they learn
when
it.
they've left time on the clock and they got beat, and it's like, well, you scored too soon.
Right.
And my answer was
I
just
get
what
being
you
cute
said.
if it's tied.
Right.
But you're down.
Yeah, and
Right.
that was
Right.
my argument against that back, and I can't remember which game it was, but they left time on the clock and they ended up getting beat, right? Scored too soon. I think it was
I'm
the
sure it was a Green Bay game.
It was the Green Bay
I'm
game.
sure
It was the Green Bay
that was
game.
before-
that was before
They
Dak
scored the
Prescott.
touchdown. It might have been the 2014 game. They
Right.
scored the
Yeah,
touchdown.
that's
to
before
tie it
Dak-
up and
that's
left
a
them
whole-
time on the clock or,
Yeah.
or the 2016
They
game.
still
That's
learn
what
it.
it was.
Yep.
So yeah,
2016 game. It was 2014.
I mean, you think you can gain 2 yards, right? Just 2.
Heck, that was their average on the night.
I think Bob Thomas figured out on the broadcast that this is the first time ever they've not had a rushing first down.
I saw third time in franchise history. Third time in
Okay.
franchise history. First in a long time.
In a long time. Absolutely amazing that they couldn't be able to. And you know what? And a lot of that, what was going on is their front 4 was just handling it. It wasn't like they were putting an extra guy in the. Now, when they put extra guys in the box, they were blitzing, and that hurt them early too. You fall behind 14-0 again. Same thing, right? Next verse, get off to a slow start. And then you catch up, and now it's even. But again, first and goal at the 6. You got to score.
It felt like to me that they, even when it was pretty well established that running was going to be a struggle, they kept doing that early, and Dak had to keep digging them out of 2nd and long and 3rd and long. And then at the end, it's like, hey, here's 4th and 5 because we ran it 2 more times. Go save us. And eventually you can't save us.
Right. And, gosh, the guy makes a nice play, right? If he gets the ball to him, I don't know if he threw it too far to the inside. It's a first down, out of bounds, stops the clock, and you're in business, I think, at about the 8-yard line or so. So, but again, you also gave up 28 points, right? You gave up 100 yards rushing, 150-some yards to them rushing.
Coach Garrett should be terminated for 4 years now because it's always the same type of performances. Signed nothing special and disappointing.
So to me, we can
donation,
do all the second
You're right,
guessing,
Eddie
but
B.
they got out-muscled. They ran the ball on the Cowboys, and they stopped the run. And that's what it basically came down to. I mean, your quarterback throws for almost 400 yards. You got 2 receivers over 100 yards, and you're sitting there with 24 points. That's not enough. The opening drive, you drive down, and then you can't convert a third down, try a 57-yard field goal, and you miss it. Had he hit it, it probably would have been a tie game because they wouldn't have gone for 2. Right?
Yeah.
So,
any
little
theories,
things like that.
Any theories on the slow starts?
I have no idea.
You have all week to script out these plays,
but
and they don't work.
But it's not just that. The defense gets off to a slow start.
Right.
The first 2 possessions, touchdown, right? What are you doing? They couldn't stop.
They still learning, man.
Green pass. They weren't getting pressure on Cousins. Then all of a sudden they come out the second half and they figured out how to get some pressure on him, and it slowed them down. So, sometimes, and you hate to admit it, you're just not good enough. You can nitpick all these little things, but sometimes you're just not good enough. They're 5-4, tied for first in the NFC East. We'll see what happens now going forward. But they have only beaten one team that's had a decent record, Philadelphia.
Only team outside the division they've beaten is Miami, right?
Right. Yeah, and this had to be a good start because now you're going to play 3 of the next 4 on the road, and none of them are in the division. So they've made themselves a tough road here if they think they're going to be able to win the division and get in the playoffs now. And that's got to be the goal now, right? You just get in the playoffs somehow, some way, but you're going to have to win the division. And you're going to have to beat Philadelphia the next time, too. You can't afford to lose one of those. So, yeah, this is difficult, and that's another, not a good loss. 3 losses by a total of 8 points.
Thank you, Mickey.
Okay, sure thing.
We'll make sure to listen to Talking Cowboys all this week and check out Mickey's work at DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys lose 28-24. Susan G. Komen. Learn how the Dallas Cowboys and Susan G. Komen are fighting to end breast cancer. Visit Komen.org.
Oh, man, all I heard was, excuses and excuses. That's what we're going to go by. It's crazy. Like we still learning. If it's the mid-season, if you haven't found out why you come off to a slow start now, and all of a sudden you think that this team is worthy of winning the division and then get into the playoff and then ultimately winning the playoff games and then get into the Super Bowl, and you still trying to figure out, you're learning and you're trying to figure out things.
I really was impressed with the way we came back in there and got back to where we could win a ball game that was really kind of in doubt. So real disappointing for these guys, and here disappointing for our coaches. But I can't say enough about how well Zim had their team coached up.
Jerry, not only as the boss but also as a football fan, how frustrated do you get by the lack of running game?
Well, I give Mike Zimmer and his staff, I give them a lot of credit. You just basically could have put a sign on the start of the game that said Zeke's not going anywhere, and that was the story of the game. And so he designed a plan to win the game that way. We had trouble getting them off the field at times, and that limited us from getting more of our ups, which we needed to. I thought Dak was outstanding. Cooper was outstanding tonight. And I really thought our protection was really impressive here tonight. So all of that gave us a chance to see some guys do some good things. But they're a good football team, and you can lose those kind of games just like we lost them.
Does the way that you guys struggled running the ball make you second-guess running twice there on that final possession in the red zone?
Right, let me see if we get some truth.
I'm not going to get into that. Since it didn't work, I'd like to have, we'd all like to have that back, but you gotta keep trying, and again, like you say, you had it down there, and to their credit, they had it down to where you either make your makes or they got the ball game. But they were in position all night long to win that game. We were having to come back and get up there to where we had a shot all day long, and so at the end of the day, the game, I haven't looked at the total on the stats, but I know this from the standpoint of the plan. They seem like they were able to move their ball more assuredly than I would have expected.
Some interesting comments there from Jerry Jones, meeting with reporters after the game. Cowboys lose 28-24. How much of the blame do you put on play calling? How much of the blame do you put on defense? On the defense of the Cowboys, you can tweet us at JC1053, at RE Sports, ARI Sports. Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temkin, or you can call in or text 877-881-1053. You putting blame on the play calling, you put the blame on the defense. We get into all of that in a moment. Dallas Cowboys football will continue.
Well, here's what I took away from what Jason, not Jason Garrett, oh man, I forgot the doggone dude name. Jerry Jones. This is what I put on Jerry Jones' situation right here. Is that he still sounds like he's the apologist for his head coach, man, the coach that he empowers. Meaning that my thing is, Cowboy Nation, he said he disappointed in the coaching. That's lip service. I want to see it from your actions, man. If you purchase a car and it's not starting up when you put the key in the ignition or when you press the push start button, you're not going to just say, hey, I'm disappointed in Cadillac services today. You figure out how to resolve and solve these issues. And to me personally, it's just too much of a laissez-faire type of situation. And do the Cowboys have a right not to be mad about it? Yeah, they have a right to be not mad about it. But to me personally, I'm frustrated about it. It seems like, I tell you what, I'm the only guy that's mad about it. I'm the only guy that's mad about it. You see, I guess I'm the only person that's mad about this game. Everybody else is sitting there looking at it like, if we only executed better, we win this game. Shout out to you, Andrea. Jason Garrett. Yes, I feel what you're saying. Jason Garrett is stupid. Just a clapping. Palm Below says, bruh, was Jason Garrett play calling? Shaking my head. Fire him. And this is from Jonathan. He's saying that they still learning. That's just the reality of it, Cowboy Nation. We are more mad than they are. We the one taking it to heart. Maybe we should act like the Dallas Cowboys and don't care. We should stop caring. That's what it is, Cowboy Nation. We should just stop caring. Maybe maybe they got it all understood. Gregory, thank you so much for the donation. Let's see what he says.
Cook can't get outside zone, they run screens and tosses. Zeke can't get going inside, we run again inside.
Gregory, you are a student and a knowledgeable of the game. Very, 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 very smart, intellectual. Look, get the MVP for posting that comment there. When you look back at the tape, Cook and Alexander Madison, they wasn't running no rushing yards up the middle. They could barely get it going for them. They ran and they attacked the edges. Oh, why not run up the middle? Why not run up where Covington at? Why not run up there where Antoine Barbecue was at? That's because that's where the fat of the land is at. That's where we was creating pressure. Malik Collins and those boys, we were collapsing the pocket from the interior. We did a great job. The defensive forward did well. But we put them out on skates, taunts. Hey, they use the Dallas Cowboys' strength as their weaknesses. How long? You're not a defensive head coach. What you meaning? Oh, screen passes. Oh, allow the people to get upfield. This is almost like trap blocking. We fly out to the ball like no other. LVE outside of his assignment. Jalen Smith, he's outside of his assignment, trying to shoulder and arm tackle somebody. Maybe he didn't have a clear eye view of things, right? And they getting upfield for not just 10 yards, 15, 13. 20. And what we do? Hey, we can't get yards up the middle. We continue to run the yards up the middle. Maybe eventually it crack. That's the reality of it. But you guys want us to lie to kick it, right? We still learning. We are still flat out learning, basically. That's what we're doing, Cowboy Nation. That's what we're doing. They're still on commercial break. But I hate to be so negative about it. But you want me to say that eventually we're going to figure it out when we can't run up the middle, that we can bounce off to the outside, that magically falling out of the sky like a manna that's going to fall out of the sky and it's going to land in our hands, and we'll be able to feed and eat off of it and say, hey, we're going to flip it around and now we are going to do some pitch tosses to the outside. Now we all of a sudden is going to do some plays like a screen pass for once. Oh my goodness, boy! Eventually, something like that will happen, right? Time. Mm-hmm. You guys want me to say that, right? Well, that's going to happen, right? We're going to speak it into existence. How does Dak suck? We're not watching football. Yeah. Anybody that says that Dak blew this game, they are not watching football, period. Dak balled out today. They was averaging. You can't even use the situation where you say he was dink and dunk Dak. The dude averaged over 14 yards per play throwing the rock. But we still learning. We are still learning, Cowboy Nation. We are still learning.
Tied the Cowboys.
We're still learning. Did Jason Garrett say anything about the fair catch? Chad, I don't know. Shout out to you on my Facebook panel. I don't know if he said anything about the fair catch. We need to talk to Tavon Austin.
Ford is the best in Texas. An 11-play, 83-yard drive. Took 4 minutes and 39 seconds off the clock. It was capped off by that 3rd and 7 touchdown pass from Dak Prescott to Randall Cobb for 22 yards. It was a free play. Minnesota was offsides, and they throw the touchdown anyways. Randall Cobb with a supreme game. Cowboys had 2 receivers.
Appreciate you for the donation.
100-yard.
Dalvin Cook got a decent FB who can block for him. Zeke don't have an FB who can block for him. Cowboys didn't have a decent FB since Darryl Johnson.
Now, I appreciate you so much for making the donation to help grow the nation, but I have to explain this to you. Majority of the runs that we ran out of was shotgun. Cowboys have a crisis, whereas when you put the fullback in, you got to take a tight end off the field. We got a guy that wears number 82 who refuses to get off the field. So he's your quote-unquote, if you look at most of those plays, he's your quote-unquote lead fullback blocker in a certain situation. 49, look, if it had a choice between Ham and 49, 49 is a dang on good fullback. You see what I'm saying? But we don't utilize him. We spent all last year trying to have this guy to catch out of the backfield, but he can block. Matter of fact, look, if we relied on a fullback to block better, we could have kept Keith. We should never got rid of Keith. He went to the Raiders land or something like that. But that's a story of a different day. But I feel what you're saying, though. But even if we had that fullback, we wouldn't give him a chance and opportunity to be out there on the field.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, I mean, even you have Michael Gallup there sort of wondering if maybe the play calls had been a little bit different, if maybe this game might have turned out a bit different. You have Jerry Jones, we heard him last segment, Jeff, and I mean, he continually credited the coaching of Mike Zimmer, a guy that he knows well.
Yep, I heard that too.
Right.
It's interesting, and I'm going to go back to something that Brad Sham, I believe, was the one that asked us this. You know, ultimately, we will focus a lot on those 2 plays because you had something that was working incredibly well all the way down the field and something that wasn't working well, and you opted to go to the thing that wasn't working well with the game on the line, and then you lose the game. So we're going to point to that a lot. But there is also that Minnesota was able to run the ball really well. No problem against the Cowboys defense. Kirk Cousins was really efficient throwing the ball. Minnesota had no problem stopping your running game. In 3 of the 4 aspects of the game, Minnesota had no problem kicking the Cowboys' butt. The Cowboys were able to throw the ball well. Couldn't run it well. Couldn't stop the Vikings from running it. Couldn't really stop the Vikings from passing it. You won 1 of the 4. They won 3 of the 4. Ultimately, you deserve to lose.
And that's exactly what Brad Sham said, right?
But due to the brilliance of Dak and Amari Cooper and a bunch of miraculous plays, you know, the Randall Cobb touchdown catch was incredible. Amari Cooper on the sideline multiple times. There's all these plays that you had to have these outstanding individual efforts to give yourself even an opportunity to get to that point, but it'll always hurt that once you got to that point, you don't get to know what would happen if you said, Dak, keep dropping back and throwing it.
Yeah, and yes, we will focus on those final 2 play calls, but, you know, again, just look at the final 2 possessions where you kick a field goal and then you have a turnover on downs. You were completing the football for 14 yards, a completion, 113 yards and 8 of 14, and you ran the ball 7 times for 3 yards. I mean, it just seems like they were consistently putting their quarterback and their offense in bad positions. I mean, that's the thing, right? You shouldn't win games or be in position to win games where you consistently have 3rd and longs, and yet the Cowboys were consistently converting those 3rd and longs. So, I mean, it's certainly they didn't, quote-unquote, deserve to win, but they should have. They were in position to win this football game.
Exactly.
They just took it away from the guy that was having the best game. And this, you know, the most maddening part for me is you're searching for signs that this team has turned a corner in terms of its identity, in terms of what it wants to be. And at the end of the day, this is a team that, despite maybe it not being the best strategy, wants to be a power-running football team. And that's – if we're looking for clues that this team can get further than they've been in 2 decades, right? If we're looking for clues that say this team has turned a corner and has firepower on offense, that they can get to the NFC Championship game and beyond, to me it starts with a understanding that the power running football team that's been your identity should no longer be your identity, and we continually keep seeing that, and that's the problem.
They
for
still
me.
learning.
100%. I agree with you 100%. And I go back to me.
I can't disagree with this guy at all. He's speaking nothing but the truth. And if you're going to be a power running if you're going to be a power running offense, you got to get up out of that shotgun.
Down if you would rather hand the ball off than throw it, the odds are you're going to be unsuccessful on that play. For the Cowboys, even tonight, when they were not able to run the ball, they still ran it 16 times on first down. They threw it 14 times. They ran it more than they threw it. Their average result running it was less than 3 yards a carry. Their average result throwing it was over 8 yards per attempt. So how do you continue to exist in a place where you're calling those run plays more than you're calling the pass plays when these results hold up for the Cowboys every week?
They had 16 run plays on first down.
Yes, and 14 pass plays.
They had 22 run plays overall. That's inefficient running. That's it.
Break it
They
down.
ran the ball too often on first down. When we talk to Brad Sham, Mickey Spagnuolo, they're saying you can't throw the ball the whole time. They're absolutely right. The problem is the times in which they chose to run the football are the most inefficient times to run the football, analytically speaking.
Well, and you may be able to throw the ball all the time. If the reason that you're able to throw the ball efficiently is that Minnesota has dedicated their resources to stopping your running back because they know you're going to hand it to him, you could absolutely throw the ball every single play until they change their mind. If you throw the ball 60 times with Dak Prescott and he's at 700 yards and 7 touchdowns, at that point, I bet Minnesota removes somebody from the box.
There you
can
go.
run the ball. But until they give you that opportunity, I don't see why you would ever force that.
877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Grant's calling in from Dallas. Go ahead, Grant. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yeah, first, kudos to all the receivers. Cobb, great game. The Vikings fan sitting next to me did not enjoy that at all. Cooper, great game. Gallup, awesome game. Dak balled out. It just seems like we get in these big games and the play calling tightens up. We try to run the ball straight up the middle. It didn't work, and we just give up on the passing game, and it's so frustrating because the team that we played on the other side of the field was a mirror image of our team. So very frustrating.
Appreciate the phone call, Grant. 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053.
And I think the mirror image, what they did was they did a better job clearing the way for their running back than you did for yours. They did a better job dominating your offensive line with their front guys than the Cowboys did to the Vikings. And that was a big difference. And despite it all, you were right there. Because of a Herculean effort by Dak Prescott and our buddy Bobby Belt from the NFL Network just put out these numbers. Dak on 3rd and 12 plus this season. When it's 3rd and 12 or more, he's 11 for 17 for 220 yards, a touchdown, and 8 first downs, a passer rating of about 128.
Wow.
But you're not supposed to end up in these spots that often, but the fact that he's giving you about a 50-50 shot of converting on 3rd and 12 plus, Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind, and they've got to lean on that. That's the best thing this offense has, is Dak Prescott and throwing the football. I think a lot of times it can be tough when you've invested a top 5 overall pick, and now a lot of money into a running back. It can be real tempting to give it to that guy. But everything in the world tells you what this team is best at now is letting Dak Prescott win the game.
The Dallas Cowboys postgame show brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We'll hear from...
That is a hard reality to some people that they call Dak Prescott trash and Ezekiel Elliott the end-all be-all. That is a hard reality. But just like they said with those numbers, look, the historical data, the analytics, anything that you can pull up as far as it relates to trends, pushes the envelope that you got to stray away from running the rock. And just like we looked at this film, last week, yes, Ezekiel Elliott did a great job, wonderful job against the Giants, a common opponent. We always talk about Jason Garrett and common opponents. But against the Minnesota Vikings, this team, it looks like the better team as it relates to running the rock, toting the rock, wore 33 and 25. It just seems to me personally, I love this team, but the reality of it, is that we're utilizing our resources. The money that we paid this offseason to Jalen Smith and Ezekiel Elliott, they didn't show up today. I can lie and kick it and say, yeah, maybe they just had our number and we'll be better. We'll be willing to execute next week. Well, now that we understood that we got punched in the mouth this week and we started off slow. It's not looking good for us, man. Shout out to you, man. Z can run up the middle with 8 people in the box. Yeah. Conventional wisdom will tell us, man, let's throw them out of that box. Let's put the hands in what's doing us, getting us out there to the ball. My Cowboys family, it's crazy. The only way this will be Jason Garrett's final year with the silver and blue on if we don't make it to the playoff. I think that Jerry Jones will figure out a way to make it not Jason Garrett's fault, and he will have some type of optimism saying that, hey, we signed him up for a 5-year contract, and we try to look at this thing again. Now, here's the craziest part about it. We are so talented with this team. Although I'm frustrated and upset, I still feel that this team can still make it to the playoff. I just don't see us losing. Because now next week, all of a sudden, we're going to play this team hard. And this is the Jekyll and Hyde that we get all the time with this team. It is.
Why didn't Jordan Lewis shadow Dalvin Cook like he did Alvin Kamara? Rooting for them is so frustrating.
And that's what I'm talking about, the efficiency on both sides of the ball. We see, like, at sometimes we would see, like, oh, man, the offense is doing great. Woo, 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 woo. And then we see the hiccups and we see the shadows of failures coming from Rob Marinelli. We see the shadows of failure coming from Chris Richard. It's not like the Seattle Seahawks said, okay, Chris Richard, we're going to sign you for an extension and these sorts of things. And from my understanding, they fired him. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Chris Richard is the issue. But now what we're doing with our defense, we're going to take a group of guys that's been fired, that didn't make it on their teams, and we're going to put them on our team, and then all of a sudden it's going to be successful. Now, I'm not saying that Chris Richard is the reason why this team is losing, but that's the reality of it. When you fail and you're not winning and you're not showing that you are proven to win on your level as it relates to coaching, I'm just saying it because you guys were not here from breaking news or talking Cowboys and hanging with the boys. You know, they're going to be sheltered in a sense. This is no PC law talking to you. So what I'm saying is that you have a failed coach from a Rob Marinelli, you have a failed coach from a Chris Richard, and then on top of that you have an average coach from Jason Garrett who have not won us anything, who never been proven. We had to go through some growing pains. Only reason why Jason Garrett is the head coach because Jason Garrett was handpicked by Jerry Jones. He was already getting paid more money than Wade Phillips, right? Wade Phillips been to 3 Super Bowls since he left the Dallas Cowboys. Could have been 4, I believe. It's some form of being his fingerprints as it relates to coaching. But we would tell everybody in the world with silver and blue saying that Wade Phillips was the issue and it wasn't Jason Garrett at the time with offense. We'll say that, hey, Wade Phillips was trash with us. But nobody loves facts. They want to hear the comfortable lies. Let's listen to what they say.
Wendy's won.
It's still on commercial break. But, you know, that's the reality of it. And trust me, I love Chris Richard. I believe that he's young and they grooming him the right way, opposed to thrusting him out there and saying that he's going to be the head coach. But dog it, you're going to give him a set of keys to the car and say, hey, keep it shiny. And you can't go over 65 miles per hour and have this car in by 11 o'clock. So we would never know who Chris Richard really is as it relates to defensive coordinator. You don't know whether or not it's Rob Marinelli's scheme or system, because we do know that Chris Richard likes to run a cover 3, but we see a cover 2. We do know that he sat back and reserved himself and said, you know what? This team said that they need a defensive tackle, 3 tech, somebody an under tackle that can get upfield. I'm going to let them pick out a Tristan Hill. Let me know how that is doing, Cowboy Nation. See, this is no PC talk, but you can listen to Breaking Cowboys or Talking Cowboys in the morning. They can tell you all of it. Hey, this team is okay. If only the kicker make the kick. And I'm not talking about them because I love their shows. I love their respective opinions. But they're not going to talk into these factors like this. They're going to say everything is sunshines and rainbows. And they're going to argue with themselves over pit-pat calls. But they're never going to call out the staff. Thank you for the donation to help grow the nation. Or 105.3 The Fan. It is what it is.
RedKettleReason.org.
Appreciate you for the donation. Who this is right here? Daniel. Let the AI speak.
Doc changed a lot of plays he balled, but we couldn't stop the run. This goes back to the Rams game last year. It all on Garrett's head.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're going to, even with good defenses, give up points at times.
Daddy.
You have to be able to outscore teams, period. You have to be able to have an offense that can outduel their opponents. Last year, Jeff Kavanaugh, I don't know that there was a confidence level from the fan base that they could win these kinds of games with their quarterback. There's no question they can now.
Oh, absolutely.
And they took it away from them.
Yeah, this is the best.
Rossia.
I mean,
Shout
in
out to
terms
you,
of
Steve.
yards per game, this is the best offense in football. Now, their challenge is that they're going to have to. I'm looking over some of the quotes from the post game, and a lot of these players are talking about the team that they believe that they are and that they can be. The problem right now is, if you're a member of this fan base or anybody that's not inside that locker room, the players are supposed to believe that. They have to believe that. But for anybody else, the challenge is, you haven't shown us. Right now, you've got 5 wins, and you're in first place in the NFC East. And you've done that by beating the NFC East and Miami. And losing to the Saints without their starting quarterback, and losing now to the Vikings while you're at home without their best wide receiver, without their best run stopper.
Yeah.
So you have to, what the Cowboys have to do is they have to go beat the Lions. They have to beat the Bills. They're going to play the Patriots. You've got to beat the Bears and the Rams, and because to this point, you can believe that your potential is whatever you want to believe your potential is. But your results and what you've shown the world is we can beat the NFC East and Miami.
877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Palmer's calling in from Georgia. Go ahead, Palmer on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen?
What's going on?
Couple fresh observations, man. I think I saw Tony Pollard in the game for one play. I don't think I saw Dak run at all. And I get it. The defense was a little soft, or maybe a lot soft, but they did get a stop so we could have that last drive. And, hey, Jeff, this is for you, man. You've got an extraordinary opportunity once a week to talk to Jerry Jones. And I would just love it if you could say, Mr. Jones, with 1:33 left, it was 2nd and 2 on your 6-yard line. With 42 seconds to go, it was 4th and 5 from the 11. Are you okay with that? And that's all I got, guys. Thanks for everything.
Appreciate the phone call, Palmer.
And on the Cowboys flagship station, they do have the opportunity to talk to. We do have the opportunity to talk to Jerry Jones. Well, our show does not, but the morning show and the midday show do. And I assure you, some version of that question will be asked to Jerry.
And Tony Pollard did have 1 carry for -4 yards. He was on the field for more plays than that. I did catch Pollard on the field with Zeke Elliott multiple times. But in terms of the production of the stat sheet, 1 carry for -4. Dak Prescott did not have a carry. And, you know, it's interesting because there's messages like this one that comes in on the text line at 877-881-1053, and he says, my only complaint on Dak is that he hasn't realized he needs to override the play calling like Romo had to for years.
I thought we were getting there. I really thought we were getting there.
But
no, I don't know.
To something we talked about earlier, Brad Sham brought this up. I mean, we also do have to give some blame to Dak Prescott, who had some RPO opportunities here and decided to give the football to Dak Prescott. Now, again, that comes down to the play call that is the RPO and the option to run the football, but it's also on the decision-making from the quarterback in those last moments to either keep it or tuck it into the running back.
That's the best thing about football, is if you win or lose a football game, the things that you can point to is basically everything.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I'm looking at Dak Prescott, whose total QBR for this game was 87.5, which would set a league record if he did that all year. He was incredible. Just call a play where he drops back to pass like he's been doing up and down the field. But, That's fair. And we will, to borrow a Garrett term, we will have to wait until the tape is available to see, was that an RPO? Should he have pulled it and thrown it? Should he have pulled it and run it? Because a lot of times people will talk about Dak needs to run more. Dak needs to run more. Well, we saw the zone read 4 or 5 times. And in real time, because we don't know it's coming, you're not watching the defensive end who Dak's reading. But twice, I actually did see it happening, and I watched the unblocked defender stand there and wait for Dak. So he did right to hand the ball off. Your offensive line didn't do a good enough job blocking the guys they were supposed to block.
877-881-1053. Trying to find tickets to football games or any other live event can be complicated. There's hundreds of...
My thing is, man, we're still learning.
Search and discovery.
And then on top of that, we got to look at it from this. Yeah, Tony Romo was a brain out there. But you got to recall yourself. Tony Romo, 14 years in the NFL. How many years Tony Romo had in the NFL? And what people are remembering are the final 4 or the final 5 years. We have not yet to get there with Dak Prescott. I'm not making excuses for Dak Prescott. But the game that he played tonight, man, we had no dealings of losing. We had no reason to actually try to run the rock. When they are playing like they are playing, like the coverage that they were playing and exhibiting out there, we could have just kept on going with Michael Gallup, kept on going with my guy Amari Cooper. And if anything, call me silly, but the offense flowed well better when number 82 was off the field, not on the field, you see. It's just my observation.
Offensively and defensively starting slow, and it's really hard to pinpoint what's to blame. When the Cowboys on the first couple of drives and the one where the Minnesota Vikings run 10 straight times, they can't tackle. They can't wrap up and tackle. They can't do a basic fundamental of football. But when you consistently week in and week out start slowly or turn the ball over early, all these different things, you go play by play and you say, well, Dak threw that one to the other team. Obviously, that's on Dak. Well, in this case, this guy missed his gap on defense. That's on him. And so you can spread it around everywhere. And I think that's a challenge for the coaching staff, too, because ultimately, when you're responsible for the preparation of your football team and the beginning of the games don't go well, that's not going to be a good reflection on you either. That if your job is to prepare your team to come out of the gate and start a football game and the other team consistently starts better, that is going to come back as a negative reflection on the coaching staff as well.
Yeah. And look, one of the big knocks on Garrett over the years has been the inability to adjust in the game. I mean, you look at the final 2 drives of this football game, they could not run the ball all game. They couldn't run the ball in those drives, yet they continued to try to. They had 7 carries for 3 yards in the final 2 possessions that mattered here. The one where they got a field goal, the one where they turned it over on down. 7 carries for 3 yards. 5 of those 7 carries went for 1 yard or less. At what point do you adjust and say the running game isn't working very well? Let's try and go with what's gotten us as far as we've gotten. And the slow start was a little bit better. Like, they were slow out the gate, but they at least caught up by the second quarter. Whereas last few weeks, it takes until the third quarter for this offense to get going. So it was a slow start. For me, though, it's the inability to adjust on the stretch when you're just ramming your head against the wall trying to run the football, and it's just not working. 5 of 7 carries for 1 yard or less, continually putting this team in third and long situations.
I think that's the hardest part as a Cowboy observer is watching, because Brad Sham, I thought, made a great point earlier where you have to ask yourself this question about the team you're watching. What if they're not good enough? The problem is I don't see that they're not good enough.
Right. I saw this game where they aren't good enough.
Right.
You look, I just hate, I'm just crazy when I hear this. What if they're not good enough? So you mean to tell me you pay all of that money for La'el Collins, you pay all of that money for Zach Martin, you pay all of that money for Travis Frederick, you go out there and you use draft capital for number 52, and then you pay all of that money for Tyron Smith, and they're not good enough? This offensive line, you can only muster out what it is, 2.7 yards per carry, and they are not good enough?
Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys fall to 5-4 on the season.
Buddy, you guys check on me tomorrow. Y'all check on me. You know, y'all post a comment and say, "Hey, Law, you all right?" You know what I mean? Because this is crazy. If anybody have to pull back into the crevices of their thoughts and they say, what if they're not good enough? So you mean to tell me you use draft capital for all of those front 5 offensive line, and then on top of that, with the 4th overall pick in 2016, the guy that you reached deep down in your pockets and you paid $109 million. I do know that it's only $13 or $14 million per year, but are you putting all of these resources on those 6 players? You can only muster out 2.7 yards per carry, and you have to recall and ask yourself, if only we execute well enough, if only we are just, what if we're not good enough and we're still learning?
Like Campbell's chunk.
I can't make this stuff up, Cowboy Nation. I really can't. And, Tristan Hill. You know what? I ought to do a film session. I need to find me a clip of Tristan Hill sitting on a bench, and I'm going to say, thank you for tuning in to the Law Nation Film Session. As you take a deeper look at Tristan Hill, taking a good seat on the bench, warming up the bench, maybe he absorbing everything that he can find, and maybe next year, although he's learning from this year, that all of a sudden the light switch is going to turn on, and maybe instead of still learning, he's going to get all of his playing situation together next year. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be a monster inside, and he's going to be able to generate 5 and 7 sacks from the interior because he set out his whole entire first year. Oh my goodness, man, it's crazy. And then that's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be my film session. Tristan Hill sitting on the bench. That's what we ought to do. Yes, indeed. Really appreciate you for the donation to help grow the nation. Shane, extend Jason Garrett. Might as well if we're gonna pit a fatto around with this and and look at it from those parameters and say, well, you know, if we make the playoff, dang if we do, dang if we don't, right? Oh my goodness. Should have signed Sue. This is from Ray-Ban. Yeah. We look at that down the line too. Triple G, what's good with you? Gary gotta go. Oh, that's Triple G. That's what it stands for. That's like a little code name. Gary gotta go. Triple G. Put that on a T-shirt. Pitch it to Jason Garrett and pitch it to Jerry Jones and see what they say. Maybe Jerry Jones will sign off on it. You know. They all missed tackles. I agree. A lot of people missed tackles. 50 missed tackles. 55 missed a tackle. 54. The front 4 did pretty well today, though. You know, I must agree. The front 4 did pretty well. The one play that Antoine Barbecue Woods got to it on top, on the edge there, it's just that he couldn't get there fast enough, but they did pretty good. John Drudon says Law Nation Cowboys will go 8-8. That would be crazy, won't it? Man, this game pissed me off. This Ray-Ban, yeah, I feel you, man. Should have threw the ball at Savage time. Yes, I agree. Shout out to you, Nicholas Jones. We should have just became a passing team all together. Yeah. Here's the crafty part about it. And not saying that, you know, they are trash or they're the best team since sliced bread. But the best way to look at it are the Ravens. You know, they figure out ways to win, whether it be with the arm or whether it be with the quarterback legs and the defensive side of the ball. They create plays, they create turnovers. And trust me, yes, they're, you know, the teams that they played so far is not as difficult as the Dallas Cowboys played or what have you, but they did beat the Patriots. And then they did not play down to the levels of their competition as it relates to the Cincinnati Bengals. That's who they played today, right? They went in, they mopped them. That's what you're supposed to do. I guarantee you, if we were to play the Cincinnati Bengals, the score would have been 24-17 or 17-13. We would have played down to the levels of their competition, especially by them not being a divisional foe. A reverse psychology, always free. Always say fire, say extended. Yes, Shane, answer. Yes, try some reverse psychology for us. Jacoby, we have no leaders. Oh, my goodness. Remember, that was echoed down the line for the first, I think, since 2007, 2008, 2009, the Dallas Cowboys have no leadership. Remember that? And they were saying that DeMarcus Ware, he's not a leader because he's not boisterous enough. You remember that, Cowboy Nation? And then the only person that we had, somebody to really fold up something, was Jay Ratcliffe at one year. and he was our quote-unquote leader. And then we had a Jason Hatchers of the world who were really at the time wasn't really doing anything, but it was like, well, maybe he's our leader, you see. And then he eventually played well in one game or something like that, won seeds and something like that. And he became our vocal leader. Let's listen back into 105.3 The Fan.
From the Vikings 6, down by 4 in the waning moments of this football game, they get held out on downs, and they do not win this game because of the play calling and because of the lack of execution in that fateful stretch where they are not able to get the first down, they're not able to get in the end zone, and they end up turning it over on 4th down. They do get the football back, but just not enough time to make something happen with no timeouts and 20 seconds on the clock.
Incredibly tough, and ultimately the Vikings made a lot of plays that they needed to make to win the game. They were able to, do something that most teams you can't really count on. We talk about how Dak Prescott was 9 of 15 on third downs and overcame a lot of holes that the play calling and the way they were playing the game put them into, and Dak dug out of it. Kirk Cousins actually did the same thing. They were 8 of 14 on third down, so they were running the ball a lot, and I know we'll all remember the drive where they ran it very successfully, but they ended up in a bunch of third downs that they were able to convert. They were able to limit your running game. The Vikings were able to do a lot here, and that's a good football team. A lot of times there's going to be no shame in losing to the Minnesota Vikings because that is a good football team, but the way this one ended is going to have people, I would imagine, quite frustrated with what could have been.
877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Again, the defense certainly not blameless here as they give up 28 points. They also gave up 26 carries, 97 yards to Dalvin Cook. It was only 3.7 on an average basis, but there was a stretch there where Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison were just untouchable. And here's Leighton Vander Esch, who was part of the defense that wasn't able to get to the running backs on that drive that put the Vikings up. Here's Leighton Vander Esch meeting with reporters after the game.
Was Cook the best back you guys have faced this season so far?
He's a dang good running back, and he's fun to play against. He's got burst, he's got speed, he can outrun you when he gets the edge, and he's physical, and he's got a good base. He's hard to tackle, so, yeah.
Was there a point in the game that you thought anything turned, or was it just back and forth the whole night?
No, it was back and forth the whole night. We knew that we just need to keep fighting, and like I said, they got more than we got more.
Leighton Vander Esch and Dalvin Cook, 26 of 97 for a touchdown. Alexander Mattison, 8 of 52.
It felt like Dalvin Cook had more than 3.7 to carry, didn't it?
That's why it seems like you kind of tuck in Madison's numbers to Dalvin's, and that's really what tells you the story.
Right.
Jeff, what do we know at the linebacking core this year based on what we've seen and their inability to consistently stop the run?
I think it's very similar to a lot of the parts of this team. You know very little. I mean, you're 9 games into the season and you know very little. I thought last week Sean Lee probably had
Still learning, baby.
the best game that a linebacker has had for the Dallas Cowboys this year. And then you go to tonight's game, and Kyle Rudolph has 2 touchdowns while he's covered by Sean Lee. All of the linebackers are missing tackles, getting pushed out of the hole, not doing a great job with their run fits or avoiding and taking on blocks. So they've all been very up and down. Coming into this year, you thought you were going to be able to say that Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch would be the best linebacker duo in the league, and that was going to be the future of your linebackers. And now you're having games this year that makes you go, okay, what do you actually have? Because some games you have linebackers that show up and you say, yep, that's the guys I thought we had. And some days you show up and go, man, why can't they play assignment football? Why can't they cover? Why can't they do the fundamentals of wrapping up and breaking down and making sure you tackle? Because here's the thing about Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison. You got to bring your lunch pail to tackle those two guys. Mm-hmm. You will not ankle tackle them. You will not drop a shoulder and tackle them. You will not get one arm on them and tackle them. It's got to be break down, face mask across their chest, and wrap up. And they didn't do a good job of that tonight.
877-881-1053. There's going to be a divide this week between the people that claim that this one was lost on the defensive end versus the people that claim that this one was lost based on offensive play calling and the commitment to sticking to the ground game. Jeff, where would you prioritize those two things, which are obviously huge contributors to this loss?
Either one obviously could have been done better and given you a better chance to win. I I will lean towards the stubbornness of getting to 20 carries. The fact that you could have a guy that's averaging 2.5 yards a carry, that's averaging 2.3 yards on first down carries. Yeah, the fact that he got to 20 carries, that just seems like a really, you've been saying it seems like a really stubborn approach to playing the football game tonight, where if something is clearly not working, what's the point in going back to it over and over and over again? I don't know.
It's a maddening loss. I mean, it is a maddening loss for this fan base because this is a game that you felt like you were in the driver's seat to win. You know, it really felt like even early on when they're down 14-0.
Not very often.
Right.
I mean, you felt like you were in the driver's seat maybe at 21-20 and maybe when they had the ball at the end.
Especially down the stretch of this game where you've got the ball, you've got Dak rolling, you're in complete control, and you've got exactly what you want in modern football, a great passing offense. And it's as
I feel you, DC.
The decision-making down the stretch of this game completely sabotaged and got in the way
DC, I feel
of
you, man.
this team's greatest strength this year. Their strength on offense is Dak Prescott. It's Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Randall Cobb. It's this passing game. That's the strength of their offense, and yet they've decided that they're not going to make that their strength or their identity. Their identity is still a downhill, power-running football team. 877-881-10.
Because we do what we do best. That's what it is. And a lot of times I do know that Forever DC says the losing goes on both sides of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, I agree. And then also he says on the offensive side of the ball, I think that the play calling on the offensive side of the ball was tremendous. I do know that we look at Wonder Kellen Moore and say, well, hey, you know, he's the guy that everybody said he can walk on water. But what I'm saying is that just like if they cut off the lights in this house right now, I would be responsible for it. I'm the head of this house. You see what I'm saying? Somebody try to break in through the back. They're going to come in here and they're going to get this gack. You see what I'm saying? I'm responsible for this. You see what I'm saying? Not nobody else, but I'm the head of this household, meaning that I control everything from A to Z. And the temperament and the attitude starts with me. It trickled down over to the offensive side. It trickled down to the defensive side of the ball. And if we're not getting that from Coach Garrett, and it's been 10 years and we're still trying to learn from the small things, boy, we got a long way to go.
Wine, craft.
We got a long way to go. And I do know it's going to sound like low-hanging fruit. But at the same time, it is what it is. If it looked like a duck, if it quacked like a duck, God dog it, it's a duck, you know. And that's the reality of it. I wish we can say otherwise, but we're looking at some issues that we have seen year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9. There are some games that if you can remember and recall that it looks like this in 2008. There are some games that we can recall it looks like this in 2010, 2011, 2012, you see. And there's one common denominator. That's just the reality of it. Shout out to you, Nicholas. Had too many missed tackles. I agree. Victor says, watch the replay. Cooper was open on the post drive on the 4th down. Victor, yeah, I probably have to look back at it. You know, I'll look at the old 22. The read went to Dak Prescott to Zeke, so it is what it is. Hold Garrett accountable. This is from George. Really appreciate you for making a donation to help grow the nation. Yeah, at the end of the day, regardless of who was open, who was not open, we can't just say, well, it's not the coaching problem. That's just my thoughts of everything. And of course, when he win, of course, people are gonna look at it and say, well, winning cures everything. But the reality of it is that it's been going on 10 years. It's been going on 10 years, man. It'd be a different story if it was year 2, year 3. Sheila, what's up? Really appreciate you. Justin, what's up, man? Really appreciate you. Dak had the game in the bag. This is from Savage Time. Yeah. And like they said earlier when they was talking about it, they were saying this too, Cowboy Nation. They were flat out saying that why would you only leave him with one bullet left in the chamber when you had 3 of them out there? Heck, you could sack it at 2. How did they get the 8 yards, you see? Oh, they passed the rock. They didn't get those 8 yards from a run play. What made it 2nd and 2? Yeah, let that sink into your mental. AK Wild says 9-7 at best. We got to win more games than the Eagles to make it to the playoff. But is that the goal, Cowboy Nation? Is that the goal to get to the playoff? And then all of a sudden the light switch is going to kick on. Do you guys feel it that way? Do you guys feel that way if we get to the playoff, the light switch would kick on then? Let me know. Will the light switch kick on once we make it to the playoff? If the playoff, is that's our goal?
Bus.
What are our goals, Sean, this is Howard on my Facebook. He said, slow starts, first drive, and Mayhar's miss kick hurt again. Howard, yeah. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys head coach, my first initiative would be this right here. Dogged and grim, we may lose. We might fall out. But I'd be damned if we start off slow again. That would be my number one mission. I'll bring, look, at the end of the day, if we lose, yeah, I say, yes, this loss is on me. I won't go around trying to be PC and say, hey, if we executed, I will come out saying, well, damn it, we're going to win we're going to start off fast. Slow starts is not in our pedigree. It will be not finish the fight t-shirts. It will be not cats on t-shirts. It will be not us parading talking about hot boys. It will be not us talking about Purr Squad. It will be the initiative of starting off fast. That would be my talk speech to everybody that's in there. I would look everybody in the eye and I would say, hey, we're going to start off fast. If we lose on my watch. But dog it, we're gonna start off this game fast. There's no more of this 14 down stuff. And then I'm gonna talk to everybody. You're gonna see me paraded. Remember what I talk about now. No 3 and outs. None of that stuff coming around, not in my corner, not in my locker room. He need to look and chin check everybody. No speeches talking about, hey, if we did this, if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. I'll look at every player in the face and say, hey, come this weekend, this day, we refuse to start off slow. We're gonna push, we're gonna punch them in the mouth. We're not gonna finish the fight, not just that, do that. We're gonna start the fight. We're gonna leave them with the raggedy tooth. I'm tired of hearing everybody talking about us starting off slow. We're going to accomplish that. Once we figure out a way to not start off slow, then we can work on this other bull stuff that's going on with this team. We're going to look at the historical data. We're going to look at it and saying that, okay, on first downs, we are only averaging 1.5 yards off of a carry off of first down. That is not feasible enough with this offense. We can't get anywhere if we're second and 11, second and 10, second and 9, second and 8. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. We got to fix those issues now if we want to host that Lombardi Trophy. I guarantee you that if you can put me on as a little old mic or a little camera, one of those little door cameras, in the Patriots locker room, I guarantee you that coaches are talking to their players in that fashion. Or you put me in one of these other locker rooms, the Ravens locker room. You say, they're not going to say, okay, we invested all of this money in one side of the table and this is the only way we're going to win this game. No. We're going to figure out ways to outthink our opposition. We're going to figure out ways to punch them in the mouth, and I'm not helping nobody else up. No, not around here.
Advice and selling transfer tickets in just a couple of taps. Best of all, listeners will get $20 off their first ticket purchase when they download the SeatGeek app. Use code BOYS at checkout. Let's go. After this one, Jordan Lewis cut up their own Chris Arnold. Here's Jordan Lewis.
Jordan, this is a tough loss, and I know they said that Minnesota and the Cowboys basically are almost identical in the way you guys execute things. What do you think was the difference in tonight's game since you got teams of so similar?
I feel like they just made some plays, we didn't get one turnover, and they made some plays on offense on us. That's what it is. We just got to make some plays on the ball and make good of those opportunities. And on third down, we got to get off the field on third and short. It's kind of hard. Kudos to them. I mean, they controlled the pace of the game, first and second down, and it was hard getting them off the field. So, just making sure we do that.
I know nobody in this locker room is happy about anything. 5-4 in the season so far. It's far from over. But how do you feel where you guys are? What kind of team are you? I told you it's a hard question.
Yeah, we still up. It's not a oh my God panic mode like you said. It's a lot of football to be played. We still can get things correct it, and I'm pretty sure we'll see them again. And we had the game plan and ready to execute it for them.
That's Jordan Lewis joining Chris Arnold from the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
That's an interesting thought when he said, I'm pretty sure we'll see them again, which is entirely possible. If the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East and the Packers win the NFC North, you very well might see the Vikings again in the first round of the playoffs.
877-881-1053. Woody is calling in from Hillsborough. Go ahead, Woody. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Hey, guys. I'm just as frustrated as everyone else. But, Jeff, it's always been said that defense wins championships, not, play calling wins championship. That being said, 24 points should have been enough to win the game. I mean, if you take a look at all the scoring predictions. Although I am tired of our slow starts and running on first and second down, our offense can put good numbers on the board, while our passing game alone can put up good enough numbers to win games. So I'm asking, how many points do we have to score for our defense? Our defense, while they do have outstanding moments each game, are just not getting the job done.
Appreciate the phone call. I'll say 24 points is not enough. 24 points is not enough.
In today's NFL, I'm going to pull up the exact numbers, but what I want to find out is what is about league average in points per game, because this Cowboys offense is a 28-point per game offense so far this year. Once you factor this one in, they'll probably be at 27 point something or maybe right at 28. League average is probably right around 24, 25. So if you can score, you scored right about league average just now in this game. And in some games, you'd like for that to be enough to win a football game. In a lot of games, it won't be. That's just the way that the NFL is now. That's the way that the rules are. Teams are more efficient passing than ever before. You almost, if you want to be a good team, probably need to average 27 to 28 points per game. And that's right where the Cowboys are. So tonight,
after this game,
you needed 28 points per game. You needed that to get to overtime. And that's what good offenses are going to get.
Yeah, the Cowboys, after this game, you factor in, they're at 27.8 points per game. So right there, 28. They're top 5 in the NFL at scoring offense.
Defense is a part of football. The San Francisco 49ers are really excited about their defense. The New England Patriots are really excited about their defense, although I know Baltimore just put 37 on them. But sure, you look back at the history of the NFL, and I do think that defense is less important than it once was. If you can stop an offense, that's great. You can win the Super Bowl, sure. But you're going to have to put up a bunch of points throughout the season to have a good record. You're going to have to put up points in the postseason to win. And pointing to like one Rams-Patriots Super Bowl and saying, hey, that was a low-scoring game, doesn't equate to
look at the road
defense
to get there.
Wins
the Patriots had to put up 40 or whatever it was the previous game in the AFC Championship in Kansas City. Like, it's the last 4 teams in the AFC and NFC Championship games last year were the top 4 scoring offenses.
Right.
The top 4 scoring defenses were at home. I don't think that's an anomaly.
No, but I think once you get to the round of, let's say, the last 4 teams, then I'm interested to know, okay, tell me about their defenses now. Yeah. Because you have these 4 teams, and I know they're all good at offense. They've probably all got a good quarterback. Okay, now if you told me one of them has the 6th-ranked defense and one's 21st, I think I know who I'd pick to win the game. So defense certainly plays a role, but it's not what wins championships. It's mostly quarterbacks that do.
Yep, and this was a game in particular where it seemed like the offense was rolling, and the only thing that got in the way was the decision to consistently hand the football off when it wasn't working. 877-881-1053. Charlie, calling in from El Paso. Go ahead, Charlie. You're on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I had a question. So another caller touched on it right now. What happened to Tony Pollard's thing? And I guess the other question I had was, it seems like we got really chewed up by the screen pass. Why did we not try that tonight?
Appreciate the phone call, Charlie. I mean, I'll say this. The Cowboys really all year defensively have been chewed up by the screen pass. Where they're in games where the ground, where the running game hasn't hurt them, it's been the screen passes that have killed them from the running backs. Running backs have killed the Cowboys all year, whether it be on the ground or through the air through the screen pass.
Yeah, right now they're a bad screen defense football team.
Yeah.
They're bad at that part of the game. I do think that the Cowboys linebackers have a tendency to take the cheese, if you will. The misdirection that we always want to see from the Cowboys offense. If you get a guy going in motion, if you give them some sort of eye candy, the Cowboys linebackers tend to be very reactive to those things, which leaves them out of position for things like a screen. And as for Tony Pollard, here's what I think happened. What I think happened is you went down 14-0 against the Minnesota Vikings at home, and your coaching staff wanted to try to win the football game, and they have a running back that has a $90 million contract. I think it's hard for that coaching staff to take him out and put in what they consider to be the change of pace or inferior player because they're trying to go win an important football game against a good team and they're down 14.
A quote from Jason Garrett that says it all, plus what Tank Lawrence had to say and Xavier Woods, and your phone calls as well, all coming up. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Hey, Cowboys Nation. This season, when the Cowboys win...
Yeah. Y'all let me know when they back live, and then when they finish that up, then we'll open up the phone lines if you guys are willing to call in. My thing is this right here. When the last time we did screen pass on our side of the ball? We don't really do it, I don't know whether or not they like to get their offensive linemen out on a motion or out on the edges there. I don't know whether or not they look at that play as too easy of a dump off pass. I don't know. I really don't know. But I would love to see a little mixture of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, and not just for the gadget plays and things like that. I would love the best way to learn how to play football is to play football. I don't like the ideology that we invested in a second round draft pick for Tristan Hill, and we don't utilize him, as it relates to defensive tackle, right? Because next year he's going to have to go through some growing pains then, Not like all of a sudden he's going to be this chiseled Adonis guy that's going to be able to be chiseled up and he's going to walk out there and be like, I'm moving stuff around. I think that he would learn valuable. I think that it would benefit him better if we play Tristan Hill now opposed to waiting until next year. I think that you get more valuable reps and it would be more of a, hey, I'm learning now opposed to next year. I don't like the ideology whereas we feel that we are so high and mighty that we can use a second round draft pick as a developmental piece, you see. Also, that's the same conversational piece that I have with a Tony Pollard. There's nothing wrong. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with looking at Tony Pollard's overall skill set and saying to yourself, hey, he's going to help spell Ezekiel Elliott. Because, boy, wouldn't it benefit Ezekiel Elliott to have a change of pace? Pull him out. Maybe he'll run a little angrier. Maybe he will be mad. Instead of appeasing him and saying that, hey, he's getting paid $90 million. We need Ezekiel Elliott out there for every down. No, I think that even though Ezekiel Elliott is a bad man, I love his skill set. I love the path of the righteous man. I'll be just as happy as all of you all would be right now if he was running the rock. But they call it change of pace for a reason. You think that the team can overreact a little bit by seeing a Tony Pollard in the backfield opposed to Ezekiel Elliott? Maybe they lighten the box up. Maybe they say, okay, we pull a guy out of the box and we have 7. Maybe they'll just say, okay, we just go with our traditional set when you have 20 in the backfield. And he start gashing them a little bit. Maybe, just maybe. But instead, we wait to use Pollard at the last, and then only on gadget plays. If we don't use Tony Pollard and Tristan Hill, and we already know that Connor McGovern, that the pectoral muscle that just could have happened to anybody, that outside of Amari Cooper, who's really not even in this draft class, the 2019 draft class, believe it or not, is considered bust land for this draft situation. We got a Donovan Wilson. We don't know what he can play, where he can play at, you see. Oh, my goodness. We're not using nobody in this 2019 draft. Let me know who we using. Let me know who we using. How much of a benefit will it be to use Tony Pollard right now? He's getting his usage rate is just as equivalent to a Tavon Austin. We could have just kept Tavon Austin. He's not doing anything different than what a Tavon Austin is doing.
Sack in the second half of this game gave him 7.5. Therefore, he gets rewarded with a $800,000 bonus. The Miami Dolphins already paid Robert Quinn a $1.1 million bonus prior to the trade with the Cowboys. Cowboys are now going to be paying him the $800,000 bonus for the 7 sacks, something they'll happily pay. He's been good. Pass rush wasn't good enough tonight, though.
Wish we had more plays to choose from, which does not take away from Robert Quinn getting that sack. But if we had a lot of candidates for the defensive stand of the game, perhaps the Vikings don't have 28 points.
The quote from Jason Garrett that I think says it all after this game, quote, "You want to attack in different ways. It's important for us to continue to run the ball. In normal circumstances, you'd think we would give it to Zeke a couple of times. Second inside 2 yards. We're going to make that first down, which it didn't happen in this game," end quote.
I think, and this is one man's opinion, I think if this team wants to get where we know that this team wants to get to, they have to realize the engine is not Ezekiel Elliott, it's Dak Prescott.
100%.
That's the engine.
100%.
So when you line up on any generic football play,
shout out to Pale
if
Moon.
all
He
things
been
are
calling that
even,
out. And
throw the ball.
Jay Form.
If
Shout
they
out to
invite you to run the ball, then great. You have a good running back, and you can do that. But the default should be, if we have a look that says we can throw the ball, we're throwing the ball because we have a franchise quarterback that's the most efficient way to win, and it's what we are best at. The time to run the ball is when they give you a chance to run the ball, when they dare you to run the ball. And I think that becomes hard when you have a well-compensated running back who was picked in the top 5.
Yeah, when you have a quote in which your coach is openly saying he's for balance for the sake of balance, I mean that's problematic because it's not true to say, well, we need to be balanced. You don't. You proved in this game you didn't.
You need to
be
do
balanced.
whatever is the most efficient play on that play.
Right.
That's what you need to do.
If you
The
have to
goal
throw
is
it 7 times out of 10, you throw it 7 times out of 10.
Yep. The goal is to get first downs and then touchdowns. The goal is to avoid third down as much as you can and score points on every drive. Whatever plays give you the best chance to do that, those are the plays that you should call. Teams are going to give you the opportunity to run once you commit to the pass.
You know, it's funny because the games the Cowboys have won, they've been over 30 points. The games they've lost, they've been under 30 points. And
Go get 30 points.
30's the magic number.
Your goal should be to go get 30 points.
Had they put a touchdown on the board at the end of this game, they would have won it 31-28. 30's the magic number.
That's
they just
the
couldn't
magic.
get there tonight. And after the game, Tank Lawrence met with reporters. Here's Marcus
let's see
Lawrence.
what Tank.
It was all about, making stops and, getting turnovers. And, they did a hell of a job on defense, stopping our offense. And, they did a hell of a job running the ball, play action screen. So it's all about, get back into the film room and understanding our game plan and understanding our tempo and understanding each other.
You guys have been playing so well as a defensive line. How disappointed did that make us?
I still think we played well. But we still got to rally to the ball. They did a lot of screens and boots, to make us, run sideline to sideline, trying to out-tempo us. And I feel like we still played a good game up front, but it's all about not being ourselves.
They scored 14 points in the first quarter and only 14 in the next 3. What can you guys do to get off to better starts?
Like I said, not beat ourselves. Understand the situation, understand it was a turnover on downs, and we got to beat her to help our offense out, through a storm. So it's really all about playing team defense.
Pretty clean game too. When you look at this, the way this team's been penalized in recent weeks, the way this team's turned the football over in recent weeks. I mean, they did have the one turnover, but it's negligible.
That wasn't a turnover.
Right.
Hail Mary turnovers shouldn't count. When you calculate a guy's total QBR on that play, he should be graded positively. Because the goal was to get the ball into the end zone and give people a chance, and he did it. Who catches it in a mass of 8 bodies, 10 bodies, doesn't matter. You did your job on that play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the penalties, 5 for 39 for the Cowboys, 5 for 35 for the Vikings. Again, it was a clean game. You basically don't turn the ball over. You only have 5 penalties. It just came down to not getting enough stops on defense and not calling the right plays or not taking the ball, not putting the ball in Dak Prescott's hands in order to win this football game for you. 877-881-1053. Steven is calling in from Indiana. Go ahead, Steven. You're on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
Hey, thank you, guys. Hey, just a couple of points. Number one, on the last 2 possessions that the Cowboys had, the last set of downs there were 7 plays that they ran. Not one time was Cooper targeted. And I also believe on this field goal by Mayer there in the first half, I believe on the last set of downs prior to the field goal attempt, not one time to do something in those 10 times where he could have been targeted.
Yeah, he must got AT&T.
Yeah, Maher missed a 57-yard field goal earlier in this game, and then the Cowboys had another opportunity for that same distance. Instead, Jason Garrett decided to punt and not either kick a field goal or even go for it in that circumstance.
And that second to last drive, if that's one of the ones that he mentioned, Amari Cooper caught the first down right before their last series of downs. So he wasn't targeted on the next when it was who had the 8-yard catch after that? He did. He had the 8-yard catch. So yeah, he was obviously a big part of that drive.
Yeah, the Cowboys got a first down at the 2-minute warning, had 1st and 10 from the 6 at the 2-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
And then end up losing 2 yards? End up only getting 5 more yards from that.
They had a 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 19
after
the throw to Amari Cooper. 2nd and 2 at the 11 for no gain. 3rd and 2 at the 11 for -3, and then 4th and 5 from the 14.
So you had 1st and 10 at the 2-minute warning from the 19-yard line.
Yes.
You come away with 0 points. Cowboys ran the football in those last 2 drives where they kicked the field goal and then got turned over on downs. They ran it 7 times for 3 yards. 5 of those 7 carries were for 1 yard or less. They knew you were running it.
There is no way, man. You can say we pay all that money for the offensive line and 7 count time for 3 yards, and then one of those yards was 1 yard play, man.
14 yards of completion, and yet they ran it 7 times for 3 yards. That's the balance that Jason Garrett says they want and need. But they tried to balance it out a little bit there. 14 pass attempts, 7 run attempts. So they're still 2-to-1 passing to run, but probably still not enough.
No, it's not
in terms
enough.
Of the success.
Jerry Jones after the game, one of his quotes was, "You could have put a sign on the start of the game that said Zeke's not going anywhere." That was the story of the game. If that sign is up, don't ignore that sign. If there's a sign that says the bridge is out, you don't drive there. So to acknowledge that. Jerry's saying that from the word go, Zeke's not going anywhere. Then why is he carrying it 20 times?
Jeff Kavanaugh, Ari Temkin, Dallas Cowboys postgame show. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Bolts. Man, that's a good conversation from them. I believe they wrapping it up there. Cowboy Nation, it's just the reality of it. That was out of the 2 hours. How long I've been live streaming? 2 hours, right? I hit it right at the 2-hour marker. Normally I go just 2 hours, but I'm going to just give a little bit overtime. I don't have to be at work tomorrow, right? You guys don't have to be at work. It's Veterans Day, Veterans. Shout out to Veterans Day. We're going to open up the phone lines, but out of the 2 hours, the best thing that they just said at the end there, if the sign say bridge is out of order, bridge is broken down, you don't continue to drive there. You just don't. I think that sometimes we are so stubborn to a degree, whereas we continue to take the car and we continue to drive knowing that the bridge is out. And we're saying that we're going to make a way out of no way, right? And that's just the reality of it. I wish that we could change these things, but our stubbornness is so crazy. And Law, do you have any proof on that? Yeah. Number 82 rolling out there, running like a snail. We love what he can do. But in actuality, it pains me to see number 82 runs out there. The guy looks like he's running in slow motion. I can obviously see that. Now, although he can still find ways to get open, I love it when he catches the ball, but it doesn't do anything for us. Matter of fact, I liked it better last year. Regardless, even though we started off slow, I liked it better with Schultz and Rico and Jarwin, those 3. And I just don't like what I'm seeing now. I love Jason Witten, but I can't lie to kick it with you all. He just looked painfully slow out there. He did look good week 1, week 2, maybe some parts of week 3. But the reality of it, he just don't look like he's looked like he costing us more than he helping us. And another thing is we don't know how to make the adjustments in game as it relates to first quarter. You're not getting the yards. Why continue to do that? I'm thinking that they continue to ram and batter and batter and batter and batter and batter and hit this wall, hit the wall, expecting that Ezekiel Elliott in 2016 is going to show up and expecting 2017 is going to show up. And the reality is that as slow as Ezekiel Elliott is looking, he's looking comparable to Jason Witten. They both look slow out there. And I love Ezekiel and I love Jason Witten. but I don't see the flashes. I don't. It was some bursts and some sparks there, but it looked like he gradually started to be getting a little slower. And this is a home game. You at least supposed to look good at home, Cowboy Nation. Let me open up the phone lines, man. Maybe you guys got some good thoughts out there that you can bounce off my head, and we'll see where we are going to be at now looking at this team collectively. But it just don't look good, man. I hope we bounce back. 682-214. Okay. We got the 434. You live like 95.
Hello,
Talk to me,
it's
man.
Coach 434 again, man. How you doing?
Talk to me, Coach. How you living?
Oh man, I mean it's only 2:00 here, but I had to wait till you could open them lines up. I had to talk to you tonight, brother.
Oh my
I feel like we've had this conversation a couple times about coaching and slow starts, and I don't know, man. It's kind of is this like on replay, or we had this conversation before?
It's on.
But look,
this on replay. You talk to me.
here's my thing. So I know we have a lot of issue with the way the offense ran the ball tonight and how the play calling, but my issue bigger than anything was on defense. So right before halftime, they got the ball about a minute 30 plus, right? We had 3 timeouts.
Right.
All of a sudden, we start playing soft defense. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking, we've got guys back 5 and 10 yards from the wide receivers, okay? We got 3 timeouts. You know what other teams like a Belichick team does, or let's even go with Green Bay. You know what they're doing? They're sending people after that quarterback. They got 3 timeouts. They're gonna get some points from this, but not us. We go into conservative mode tonight. Several times, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4. You know where our cornerbacks are? 7 yards off the ball. Can you explain that to me? Can you explain what is wrong with the bump on the wide receiver? I'm not understanding why we will not put our hands on a wide receiver. It has been proven you need an extra 1 to 2 seconds for a sack to happen, okay? So when you're bumping that receiver, okay, and you're cutting him off of his route, you know what that's making that quarterback have to do? He's looking at a different wide receiver. Well, that's time. Every time he does it, that's time, right? Every time. So what are we doing? We're letting guys get off the line, make a slant route, right up the seam. They're getting balls in their hands right away, every time. Okay.
You know what's more egregious than that is the when they drop the linebackers and they give them the underneath. I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, you gonna give them the underneath?
Well, and here's the worst part about it. Our linebackers, I love them, okay, but they are so undisciplined. It's not funny. They are out. They're so fast. They're too fast for the game. Okay, they're out running plays every time. They're running so fast they can't even make tackles. That they're having to throw out arms to get them. Okay, so then just a couple more things, and I'll let you talk to somebody else because I'm pretty much done at this year. But I'll say this: so on the punt return, Tavon Austin, our playmaker, right? That's what we said he was. That's what the conversation's been all year. Playmakers. We added him for a playmaker. This man gets a punt. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. But if he catches that ball and runs, okay, I'm pretty sure he runs a 4.40, okay? So 4 seconds, he can get 40 yards, okay? So you're going to lose 4 seconds out of what was it, 38 seconds?
38 seconds.
But you have a chance to gain 40 yards, and you tell that cat that's back there with nobody around him to fair catch the ball. Now you explain that to me. That makes no sense to me.
Zero.
I cannot. I'm going to tell you what, man. Dak, just like Romo, has made these coaching staffs look better than they ever have been. Okay? And I'm telling you, it's coming to it time and time again. Mr. Claps-a-Lot has all these guys ready for the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. But guess what? There's 2 halves to a football game. And too many times we play conservative in the first half. Let's just kick a bunch of field goals. So we go for a 57-yarder, but the next time we're going to punt the ball on a 4th and, what was it, 4th and 6?
4th and 6 at the same spot on the field almost.
Same spot. So I'm not saying kick the field goal again like a freaking idiot, okay? But at least try to you're getting 8 yards a pass. Even at that point, we were getting down the field. So, Law, I'm to the point, man, where adjustments. You know, the Webster's Dictionary says small changes. We're not asking for the team to change completely. That's not what we're asking.
Yeah.
Okay? Small changes is all you need. Look, I love Zeke, but guess what? Zeke won't get it done. You think Belichick would have kept running that dude? Why do you think Belichick's got 3 guys back there that can run at any given Sunday and put up, 150 yards?
Yeah.
He's got 3 running backs to do that because you change it up. All right? You don't sit there and play to your strength to theirs. That's not the way the game works anymore. Okay? You got to find their weakness and you got to expose it. But the problem is we end up exposing ours because we're trying to show our strength.
Coach, man, you speaking the truth, man. I think that people got their church service today on a Monday night. It's Monday morning right now.
But,
Yes,
hey, that's what it is. But
yes,
Law, appreciate it, brother.
Really appreciate you, Coach.
You're keeping me on the edge, bro. Take it easy.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, man. Bye.
That's a good call from Coach, man. He's right on the money, man. He's right on the money. All right, so the phone number here is 682-214-4087. We got to have to make some type of changes, man. And I don't know. It's just philosophy altogether. I don't know. 919, you're live. What's on your mind?
Man, listen, coach, this is your boy from NC, man.
NC.
Man, listen, the coach said it all of your last caller. He couldn't have said it better. Now, the one thing I kind of have to maybe correct him on some things. I've been hearing everybody talking about Zeke is slow and Zeke is big, but yet Zeke is what, 4th or 3rd in rushing, leading in rushing. Listen, we have not used our quarterback as an option for running. We haven't used not one screen pass. See, the same thing that Minnesota Vikings did to us to help get 87 yards rushing.
Right.
It's what we refused to do with our own great running quarterback. We ran him up the middle. Like that man said, we saw that the sign said close. We saw that it was a bottomless pit, and we kept running him right in the middle. We didn't try to slant to the left. We didn't try to slant to the right. We didn't try to do a sweep. We didn't try to use an option. We did nothing but try to run in the middle. And I don't know what they were thinking, because particularly when we was having long yards, 3rd and 6, it's like, what type of play calling? This is what frustrates me with this team to no end. They're consistently inconsistent. It just, one minute they come out and they're doing everything that we're telling them that they're doing on teams that normally that anybody can beat, but then with teams that are looked at are supposed to be tough to beat, we should have really won this game. But we yet again beat ourselves on both sides of the ball, and I just don't get it. Now, listen, I love what Dak did. He was throwing, but my frustration with Dak is this. When you get 3rd and short, and you know that your defense has taken a beating in a game, you see it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Run the ball. Hold that ball for no more than a second or two, and when you don't see it, or at least dump it off to Zeke immediately. Give yourself a chance to move those chains, because the longer you hold the ball, trying to make a play, the bigger your odds are of being sacked or getting a negative play on the yards. I just did not understand. It didn't look like the Kellen Moore play calling that I saw. It looked like we started off, like that coach said, conservative yet again.
Yes, indeed.
Instead of coming out exploding, see what I told you last week about the mentality. Remember, I kept telling you about their mentality. It's like this team is like playing like they really want, a Lombardi trophy. They just coming out saying, well, we won the last 2 games, so they come in relaxed, they're not focused, and they're executing the same dumb stuff time and time again. And then we're wondering why we're in the position that we are. Now, listen, I know everybody want to blame Jason Garrett, but I'm going to be honest with you. I know you us hiring a real coach. No, it's not.
Right. Talk to him.
It's not. Now, let me explain to you why. As long as you got a front office who wants to play politics and say, well, we want Jeff Heath to play safety. We don't want to draft a safety because we rather put Jeff Heath in there because we like him. It doesn't care if he can't cover. It doesn't care if he gets beat all the time. We like him. They want to play politics, so therefore, if things like this is the reason why we continuously stay frustrated. We could put Sean Payton in as head coach right now, and he probably would do a lot better job, but guess what? He'll be fired in 2 years. You want to know why? Because if he ain't listening to the front office, then they can't have that. And don't even get me started on the defense. Explain this to me one time. Of all the things on defense, why in all loving Jesus would you put Sean Lee in coverage? You know he's lost 2 steps. You know he can't cover a daggone tight end. Why? Why did so when Sean Lee got beat the first time, you would have thought, hey, I'm gonna leave Vanderlei Ash in to help stop the run, but I'm gonna put an extra safety to cover the tight end. So that won't happen again. You thought that the defensive coaches would have figured this out. No, they put Sean Lee back in again, and what happened? I do not understand what it is that these coaches are scouting. What is it that they see? It's like you pay Zeke $90 million, but you don't use him right.
Because this is my thoughts on that. This is my thoughts on that. We run so much out of shotgun. I just wish if you're gonna be a power run team, let's get into some of these power formations. You see,
exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's like you ain't putting the right. You're not putting the right format out there to become the running. And it's like Zeke can do more than just run the middle. Use the sweep. Use a run delay. Use the option. You got a quarterback that can run and can stay healthy. Like they said, Tony Pollard. You can put him into some series that help confuse the offense. That will help the run. See, the thing is, to help your run game out sometimes, you got to use other methods. Now, we was getting the passing game going. So that was one of the good things. Number 2, you're right about Jason Garrett. Jarwin has proven that he can be a dependable tight end. He needs more reps, and he needs to be the one starting on tight end. I love Jason Witten too, but I think it's about time for Jason Witten to be the tight end coach. Yeah, more so than a player.
Yeah, it pains us seeing him out there on the field.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, if we're going to win more of these games going down the line, even if we somehow beat Philly and Washington to hopefully take the division, because that's the only way we're going to get into playoffs at this time. We're going to have to win a division and still win enough games in order for us to justify getting into the playoffs. But the thing is, we have got to put the right personnel on the field. If we're truly talking about winning, Zeke is not the problem. It's not the plan. It's how we're executing is the problem. We'll go in there and we'll execute great against teams that we should beat, but when it's time to play real teams, it's like we get scared. It's like we're boxers. We can beat everybody until we get to the title holder, and then when we get to the champion, we fold. We act like we forgot how to jab, how to hook, how to throw combinations. We forget all of that, and then we go back to the locker room wondering how do we get knocked out.
Yes, indeed. All right, for one more second, what else you have on your mind before I let you go?
Nah, man, it's just that I love this team, man. But unless this front office don't get a clue about staying out of stop playing politics, stop stop interfering with these coaches. If these coaches are truly legit, let them truly coach and let them come up with a real game plan so that we can start winning all these games. Because every game that we got to play right now, we can win.
Yeah.
We got good enough talent to win. We just got to stop beating ourselves, stop out-coaching ourselves, and be wanting to change the game plan when we can see what they're giving us.
Hold on. Let me say this one thing before I let you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a mom and pop's business, right? Have you ever seen that before?
Yes.
And you would know for sure that you will have somebody with degrees, you have somebody that's smarter, you have people that have more talent, but the mom and pop's business, they don't promote those guys. They promote their sons, they promote their daughters that's within the business. And when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, we are top in everything that you can think of as far as merchandise and selling and things like that, but we are being ran and operated like a mom and pops. So
and you hit it dead on the nail. And if I had more time, I would tell you why. Because I'm gonna tell you, I can tell you the real reason why I think, like you said, after 20 years of waiting to win, I have a theory, but that's another time.
We'll do it on another show. Yeah.
Yeah, we have got to do better in executing. We have got to use our players the right way. We have got to use Dak Prescott's legs as well as his arms. When we start getting into third and short, if no one is open, I'd rather for him to try to run the ball and move the chains that way than to sit there and try to force something where he's not set and ready to throw, and now we got to come off the field.
Yes, indeed, man. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Always bringing some good information in for the nation.
Thank you, man. I try, brother. I try. That's how we can convince the people up in Dallas the same thing we talking about.
Yes, indeed. All right, bro.
All right, brother, man. Hold it down.
Salute. That's a good call, man, from the 919. Spoke a lot of stuff, man, that was on his mind that really echoes throughout this organization. All right, the phone line is back open. 682-214-4087 is the number. And this is the reality of it. We are being ran like a mom and pops. The 202, man, you live like 95. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, La?
It's your world, man. It's your world.
It's G2 Wavy in the chat box. How you doing tonight?
Oh, man. I'm making it, bro. I'm making it.
All right, let me get to my points. First of all, it's time for a scheme adjustment change. Our passing game, at first I didn't like the curl routes and stuff, but like last year, I seemed like our route concepts were trash. It seemed like they fixed that problem with Kellen Moore, but now it's our run concepts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and I got a theory to that before you break it down. I think that our passing philosophy is pretty well. I think that Kellen Moore is a quarterback, right? He's been doing passing all his life. I think that he kind of stops and stutters a little bit as it relates to run options and running the rock. I think that he's not all the way groomed enough to run to set up running plays, in my opinion. But go ahead.
I mean, it could be like because we're running the same run plays that we've been running since Zeke's been on our team. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We need to switch to a zone running scheme or like more outside runs because like you see Dalvin Cook making the first man miss and stuff. That's partly because all he's going up against is safeties and cornerbacks, and he has great balance like an Alvin Kamara. The one time like the times that he goes against linebackers, yeah, he'll break one or two tackles during the course of a game, but he's not going to break. He's only going to break so many tackles from a linebacker. Like we're getting Zeke on deep. Dalvin Cook is going against safeties and corners, sometimes linebackers when he cuts it inside. Zeke is strictly going against D tackles and linebackers. And the one time when he does get in space, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he just goes down.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what we've been observing, too, on our end over here, man. I'm not calling Ezekiel Elliott trash. I'm just looking at it from the aspect that he looks like he lost a step, and it looks like the play design, like the last caller from the 919 just mentioned, it looks like we're not crafting up enough plays to be exotic with it, like the sweeps. Even when you get into an I formation, have a lead, a blocker out there, a slam. We're not seeing none of those things as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. We run more so out of shotgun than any other formation that I've seen. But that's just how
Well,
it
I don't
goes.
know. I think it's just that last drive that maybe gave you that impression, because over the course of the game, we normally on first down run out of I formation.
Yeah. Off the
I mean,
first
not
place.
at-
Yeah.
not a single,
Yeah.
at a single back, we wouldn't, like in the first 3 quarters, we'll run out a single back most of the time. But I'm done with the offense. The defense. I think the reason why we get gashed against teams like that, normally we commit. This is the first game where I did not expect Dalvin Cook to go that crazy, because everybody knows they're one-dimensional running team, and they play action pass with Kirk Cousins. Before, like last year when we played the Rams, we knew we had to take away the big plays. We did that, and then something else beat us. It seems like that's always the case. Like last time we played Andrew Luck, we took away the passing game, but something else beat us. I don't know what it's probably more cases like that, but this time we couldn't take away the primary thing, and it's because it's the run game.
It's always something to come back and kill us, man. Any other thoughts you want to put out there, Wavy?
Yeah, it's just like it seems like Jalen Smith and Leighton Van Der Esch, they can fly to both sides of the ball, but when they hit him right up the gut, the guards and the centers are just they can't make tackles if the guard and the center is always on their jersey.
Yeah, it's on their scouting report too. They gotta have those clean. They gotta have clean lanes, man, and hopefully.
I can't blame them for that.
Yeah. But good call, man. Really appreciate you, bro.
All right.
It's a good call, man, from him. Brought us some good information for the nation. And yeah, have valid points. We do run out of on first downs. I do see that. But everybody knows that we're going to run off of it. And I think that we should culminate it by also mixing it up of passing out of that formation as well. Let's give it a situation where we can manipulate this thing a lot better. Let me know how you all feel about that. Really appreciate you for tuning in, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to Howard that's on the Facebook panel, man. Really appreciate you there. If you're on Facebook, please share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, folk know where to go when they want to tune into Cowboy Sports Talk. 100%, 2 hours and 26 minutes straight, no commercials. Really appreciate you all. And 682-214-4087 is the number. Let me see. Jeff, he said Jalen is getting many next level tackles on him. My thing is with Jalen and LVE, they both fly out to the ball like no other, right? And to me personally, the discipline aspect of the game, you can see that written all over their faces. Sometimes we fly out to the ball too fast, and they get upfield, turn, and create all types of yards on us. And this has seemed like the problem. But the front four played well tonight. The front four, I can't be mad at them. They got the sack, they got the pressure, the interior, they did their job. It's just that we didn't capitalize on the secondary as well as the linebackers. And I think that we played too comfortable as it relates to free releases and too far back. It's just not a good recipe. It seems as if, though, when the offense is hitting on all cylinders, the defense find a way to make it hard for us. And then when the defense is not there, the offense is there. You know, it's just we got to have a complete game, basically. Empty your pocket, Zeke. This is from Q. Oh, my Q. Sounds like live chickens in the back. Oh, you guys are maybe a little late. He's already off the phone. Really appreciate you all. 682-214-4087 is the number. This is a 7-9 team. Talent has been, but we should be 2-4, 12-4. Let's see. 954. You live. What's good?
Yeah, what's going on, Law?
Oh man, talk to me, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling real hurt about the loss, but all I can say is, man, how the way we lost that game was just straight out coaching, man. No other way you can say it, you know. And the reason why I say that too, like you look at what happened, like the adjustments that we made is like we made an adjustment, we went back to our old self. Like they took out Sean Lee and they put number 48 in. I can't remember the linebacker name, 48. They put him
Joe
in.
Thomas.
Joe Thomas. They put Joe Thomas in, and as you can see, what the Vikings was doing, they was running away from Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, and they was running to the side where Saw Lee was at. But then they took out Lee and they put Fort A in. He did an excellent job. And the Cowboys, well, I don't understand for the love of it, why would you put Lee back in when you see that it was working? You went away from it. That's one thing I noticed. And another thing I noticed, and I know we all noticed, Jason Witten. I'm sorry, I love Jason Witten, but he don't have it no more, man, like that. We need like somebody that's quick and fast that can move down the field and move the chains in that tight end spot. And we have the players, but we not utilize them. So I can't blame the players. I can't blame the players in the locker room. I'm gonna blame the head coach. Like you said, we got all this weaponry out here, and we coming to the fight with pocket knives instead of pulling our whole arsenal out and just, using our arsenal to get results.
But let me break this down. This team is heavily political. This is political. When I was out there in Oxnard, right? We saw Jordan Lewis make all of these plays. We saw Donovan Wilson. He was making all the plays in training camp. You see, and then a lot of people was like, "Well, let's see if it could translate to the preseason game." It translated, and we still have yet to see Donovan Wilson play. Right? Also. And let me show you how political this thing is. The guy wore number 84 during Oxnard in preseason. He outperformed Schultz. He did. I think it's McElroy. He outperformed him.
Yeah.
As it relates to training camp. And then we made a move on a guy. We pulled him from the practice squad from the Seahawks. He outperformed number 86. He outperformed Schultz.
The tight end.
The tight end, I forgot his name, is at the tip of my tongue, but he took Rico's number. He wore number 80. Those two boys, they outperformed Schultz. But the political situation of it is that they drafted Schultz. And trust me, Schultz may be the second coming of Jason Witten next year. I don't know. But from what I can identify with my natural eyes, watching out there in training camp and watching out there in preseason, you don't even know who Schultz is at that point. You see what I'm saying? Because all you saw was flashing is 84. And then you saw number 80, making catches, catching over the middle, taking the top off the defense. And they would play Jason Witten some days, and then they would say, okay, we're going to give Jason Witten rest days. And Jason Witten came out and told all of us and said that, hey, when they call my name, and if I know that I'm not 100%, I will fall back and I will give this team, because this is Jarwin's team, or this is the guys that were here before me from last year's team. Have you seen Jason Witten say, hey, I'm going to pat myself on the helmet and step out? You see,
no, sir. We're
not going to see that. And that's the reality. This game, this team is all about political. And I hate to say it, I do know that it sounds like sour grapes. I do know that a lot of people will not receive that. A lot of people are going to be saying, Law, you so far out. You wrong with this information. But that's the reality. What did it took for Jordan Lewis to get out there on the field?
It took Brown basically getting hurt. Mm-hmm. From the finally said, okay, let's see what he got. And they knew all the time what he had. Like he was saying, it's just they didn't care. They just wanted we're going to go with Brown. Anyway, that's our guy. He like 6 feet, and we're going to stick to our system, and that's how it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But he got hurt, and that's the only reason why I believe he got a shot to even get on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Anything else you want to put out there to the universe right now on Cowboys Nation side?
Yeah, I'm going to say this, man. The Cowboys, it's sad to say, I love my team. I ain't going to never quit on my team. That ain't going to never happen. They remind me of the 19, like the Notre Dame team back in the days, when they used to they used to win all those championships, and you walk through the Hall of Fame and you see all these great players that played at that organization. And the Cowboys now, it's like they're doing the same thing. Look at Michael Irvin, look at Troy Aikman, look at Emmitt. Okay, they're great, but then they think that they are those players, the player that's playing right now, and they're not doing nowhere near what Aikman and Emmitt, and Irvin, none of them guys are doing. It's like they walking around thinking that they doing what they did. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, it goes back to more than just coaching. It's just Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones too, and the coaching. Something got to give.
Some must give, man. Really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. You too, bro.
Salute. It's 954, man. Oh my goodness, that's 954. Good call, man, from him. And that's just the reality of it, man. I wish I could just change this thing all around, but we can't. The 225. You're live. What's good?
What's up, Long? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. For right now, I'm doing great.
Long time listener, first time caller, calling from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
All right, BR in the house.
Yep.
Right down the
Been
road.
a Cowboys. Yep, been a
From where
Cowboy
I'm from.
fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Been a Cowboy fan since middle school.
Okay.
Been sick with them for a long time. You get back, I was in middle school back in the 90s, so that lets you know how long my Cowboy fandom comes from.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm very, very frustrated. I don't know what to say about my team. I take pride in enjoying being a Cowboy fan. I take pride in enjoying representing or trying to represent the Cowboys in a very heavily populated Saints nation. And I still try to wear my blue and silver as proudly as I can. But I looked at this game tonight, and as bad as our defense played, especially when it came to the run, we still had a chance to win the game.
True.
And the play calling, and I know everybody, when we lose, we jump on Jason Garrett. When we win, we don't want to give him, I guess you could say, the credit for wins, even though they're not they're games below 500 or maybe right at 500% teams. But the 3rd down and 2, I was listening to Ryan Clark talk about the game. Not Ryan Clark, Deion Sanders, and he was saying Jason Garrett didn't make the play call.
Right.
Kellen Moore made the play call. But if it's 3rd down and 2, you have not been able to run the ball well all game. Shouldn't you, as the head coach, maybe say something and say, what, Kellen, maybe we need to have some other options out there besides just trying to run the ball down their throat. Because as Jerry Jones said post-game, you could have put a sign out around Zeke's neck to say Zeke was not going to be able to run the ball down Minnesota's throat tonight. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Law? I just don't. The play calling goes last.
Well, this is what I look at, and this is my observation. It would be different if I never seen something like this before. Like we felt losses like this before. It would be different if it was our first time losing in this fashion.
Correct.
And so the fingerprint is there. It's like, who shot the gun? Who shot him? And I can look at it and I can say, well, Jason Garrett pulled this trigger because it got his fingerprints all over it. The evidence pointing back to him. Now, when we start talking about the loss parameters of, is this Jason Garrett fault? Is this Kellen Moore's fault? Is this Batman fault? Is this Superman fault? You know what I'm saying? There's a common denominator. It's been 10 years of this same philosophy.
Correct. And see, that goes to the politics you were talking about.
It goes to it, and especially when it's a mom and pops. For sure that you down there in Baltimore, BR and Baton Rouge, I meant to say, you down there, and for sure you bust your chops off, you bust your tail off, and you got the highest GPA, you got all the grades, you got your certificate, you got your diploma, you went through all of the services, you did everything that you're supposed to do.
Correct.
And then little Jason come in, and he gets the job over you, and he's telling you what to do, and you said, hold on. I know that validation is only good for parking, but I'm certified in this positioning right here, and my experience is beyond yours, but you get this job over me. Hold on, it don't work that way in real life.
It shouldn't work that way.
It shouldn't
work that way.
But in Jerryland, it does.
You have all these post-game comments, and I look at Jerry Jones's post-game comments, and I don't know what he tries to pontificate. Jerry Jones loves to pontificate. The
Yeah.
man loves to pontificate. And he talks about how this needs to be changed and that needs to be changed. And he drops little hints like that comment he made about the sign around Zeke's neck. He knows what's going on. It's obvious. Stevie Wonder could tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like he just doesn't want to do what is necessary. Donovan Wilson should. You got to do something with your corner, with your safeties.
You got to do something.
Respect Jeff Heath for trying to come out there and battle, but we getting beat deep. We can't stop the run. Even though we come out every week, and I listen to the coach Sean and Coach Maryland every week talk about how we know what they're gonna do, which is also frustrating because when you know what they're gonna do, and at the end of the week you say you prepared for it, and then they still do it to you.
Yes, indeed. Got any other thoughts before I let you go?
No, man. Just keep up the good work. I've been a long time listener, first time caller.
Really appreciate it.
You got some BR support down here. I don't know if you know that yet, not, but you do. But I do want to get your thoughts on where you see them going forward. I mean, this team is 5-4. They should be, heck, they should be at least 7-3, or I mean, it was 6-2, something like that at this point. 2 games they shouldn't have lost. This game and that Saints game. Where do you see them going at this stage?
For on the front end, I feel like we can go 10-6 now. I think that we'll lose 2 more games, but in reality, maybe just maybe 9-7 for this particular division can get us into the playoff. But if we go 8-8, man. But I feel like we're gonna find a way, though, believe it or not.
And my final question: if the politics being the way they are, Jason Garrett's contract is not renewed. We all heard from Jerry Jones this was going to be the test season. Either he makes the NFC Championship game and beyond, or he doesn't, and he's not there. Based on the way they played this season, what's your gut? Is he there next year or not?
Well, politics, man, with Jerry Jones, he's a salesman, and I remember him saying that we're gonna pay Dak Prescott before the start of the season. And I remember saying
they're gonna tag him.
Now I heard him say, "Hey, we're gonna pay him during the bye week, waiting for the bye week." Now I'm hearing that, "Hey, we're gonna wait," and this is the same conversation with the Mari Coopers. So
right.
we
now
never know.
Gonna tag Dak.
Now they're gonna tag him, So I can't trust what they selling, but he's a hell of a salesman. We still gonna buy the product regardless because we hooked right now, and it's just reality of it. Jerry Jones, he's telling us the moon is made of cheese. He's saying that little water that you feel down your back is not urine. That's just a little rain. So that's just what he does.
And you believe that if you want to.
You believe it if you want to. Oh, man, where's all this? Hey. No, don't worry about it. It's just a little rain. Why is it yellow, Jerry? Hey, why is it yellow?
Yeah,
don't worry.
Don't worry.
It's gold. It's gold. You got to taste some of it, But I really appreciate you for calling in.
Keep up the good work, man.
Salute. That's Jerry Jones. He trying to sell us stuff, man, and we buying. We buying that rainwater, and we making sure that it better be tinted yellow, and then on top of that, we trying to buy rocket ships to get to the moon. And see if we can get a cup of cheese. 301, man, you live.
Hey, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Amari Cooper's game tonight. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Oh, man, what was his total numbers? Because I think that he balled out. He had over 100 yards, right?
Yeah, he had over 100 yards, I believe.
Man, his toe drags was awesome. My thing is, I just mad that we didn't get the win because that would look really good. But I look at it that Cooper is continually is showing us like he's top tier wide receiver play. Because if you think about it, this game, last night or yesterday now, was a game that we saw him do some things that we never seen him do in his career. Those toe drags, I'd never seen no highlights of him doing that.
Back-to-back toe drags, that was amazing.
Back-to-back, and then on top of that, creating space, and then he's still not 100%. some of those passes that he called like across the middle, old Coop would have took it to the house. But he just figuring out ways. And then the young phenom, Michael Gallup, he's showing us that he can catch the ball in traffic looking like a baby Michael Irvin. And Randall Cobb, he stepped it up a little bit tonight as well. Well, a lot of bit tonight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
Well,
I had no problem with them.
Yeah. I just want to get your thoughts on the game, man. Have a good night.
You as well, man. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
That's a good call from the 301. Jump right in and jump right on out. Let's do that, Cowboy Nation. Y'all want to call in? 682-214-4087. I'm all-nighter. If you guys are all-nighter like me, let's go. Let's go. 682-214-4087. You guys want to pull out some positive. That was some positive aspect of the game, the wide receiver play. They look fantastic out there. Averaging Dak Prescott averaging over 14 yards per throw. That was cool. Not to rain on Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott, for better words. It just seemed like our philosophy with Ezekiel Elliott. I think that we should figure out other plays than what we're exhibiting out there for Ezekiel Elliott. I think that we should utilize Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott at the same time. I still don't like the fact that when we do see Jason Witten, we all praying. Like, come on, man. He looks like he's broken down out there. It looks like he's bad. 817, what's good?
What's going on, Lord? This is Bill Gates, the one and only. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the platform a couple of times. Feel me? How you been, brother?
Oh man, I'm making it. You know, I'm a sore loser.
I could join you today. My Saints definitely,
yeah.
But we're on y'all today. You feel me? We're gonna focus on these Cowboys tonight, one and only, the great American team. You know what I'm saying?
America's team, maybe.
America's greatest. I just want to throw in a little 2 cents. I want to ask y'all, what's the real issue that you guys are having with Jason Garrett when you guys have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator who runs 90% of the play calls? Jason Garrett only has an oversee to hear it on the intercom through his microphone of what plays are in transition or what plays are being considered to be ran. He only has a short amount of attention span to really, hear and, put in his 2 cents. So what I'm saying is that, have y'all not thought about it as in Jason Garrett is really just being the face of all the blame that the defensive coordinator and y'all offensive coordinator should really be getting? Yes, you're right. He's the man of the house. So
right, because I was about to go that route, but go ahead. You hit me. You already took that out my mouth, man. Dog. But I got another one coming, but go ahead.
Yes, you're right. He is the man of the house, but you got to also understand, when you are a parent and your children, let's say, come back from college and they want to come back to the house because they ain't ready to live on their own, you as a parent, you don't tell your child no. You do what? You might give them a little rent. So you got to pay your portion to live here also. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you might have the light bill as your portion to pay. Mm-hmm. So now, yes, I'm the overseer of the whole household, but I'm looking at you to be responsible for this one particular bill. I'm not asking you to be responsible for the whole house. You ain't got to worry about the water bill. You ain't got to worry about the house note. All right. I ask you to do is just focus on these lights. How can I can understand how you can blame the source, the head house, but how can y'all overall think in that manner without giving a advocate, a devil's advocate in a sense? You feel me? Like, I think Jason Garrett's a good coach. You know what I'm saying? And
I think that Jason Garrett is a good coach, and cheese tastes good. And, when my owner saying that the moon is made of it, I'm trying to build my jet to get up there, and I realize that it's a rock. I'm mad and I'm upset. Jason Garrett had 10 years in this particular system, right? And you can't recall to me and tell me that, hey, this is their philosophy. You see, that's working, that's been proven. Now, here's the thing. A great leader, this is what I've learned, right? When you are executing an attack plan and everything is falling, the leader would then stand up and say, instead of me saying charge, I'm going out there and I'm going to make things happen one way or another. This is finna go down on my watch. I felt that last year when the whole situation was blowing up with Scott Linehan, he should have said, give me this playbook, snatch it out of his hand, whether it be, not physical, but mentally, or whatever you may want to call it, and say, hey, this is my playbook. This is what I'm going to call this. If we're going to go down, we're going to go down on my watch, not by nobody else's watch. So when the kids are leaving the lights on, or when somebody else, the neighbor come over and they kept the water faucet on all day, all week long, I need to start setting the tones and setting rules and regulations. I need to hear from the head coach that goes into these meetings. And I don't know, because I'm from the outside looking in, but I feel that when you're running a mom and pop's business, everybody is just too comfortable. Everybody walk around 5 minutes, 10 minutes late. They cool, they chilling. They know that there's no extra pressure coming in from the outside. That's how I look at it. Everybody got they slacks on, they chilling, they ain't really worried about the outside noise, they ain't worried about the outside pressure because there's no imminent threat. I think that if Jason Garrett really want to take over, I need to see something change as it relates to this defense. Somebody need to get fired, somebody need to get cursed out, we need to see some type of emotions outside of throwing a flag at the officials. That's the only emotion we saw in the last 10 years.
You right. I give you that. You right. But he got a new. You got to notice something. He got a new aspect. It's called the spit. You notice he don't clap no more. He do a lot of spit now. You know what I'm saying?
He spit down. I was like, ugh. Yeah, spit. Getting a little spit action on the sideline.
You give us a little spit action. All right. But final question I want to ask, because I know you got other callers now. I'm not trying to overhold you. But I see that you compare the Steelers coaching, and you saying if it was applied to the Cowboys, how would the team be different? You're right. But what I also want to ask you is that everybody's preaching on this, let's get rid of Jason Garrett, but what is the replacement? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all looking for as the future? Like, who are y'all asking to be the next man up to be the coach for the Cowboys? Who y'all looking forward towards to say, okay, well, once we do fire him, who we going to let stand up for us and represent us now and give the next 10 years of shamefulness to, or win, you know.
I think it's a conundrum, but no matter how we look at it, when you look up the word narcissism, or narcissist, that's what Jerry Jones is. I love Jerry Jones. Right now, he probably call in and say, Law, I'm going to donate you $1 million to Hush. And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to hush for a while and start up Law Nation 3.0 or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is not Law. I shave off all my hair, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to still talk about the Cowboys. But my thing is, with this thing, Jerry Jones going to always have the final say. And sometimes you want to be the biggest and the loudest person in the room. I don't know how much money you make or where you work or what you do for a living, but it's hard enough if you're working for a job. It's hard enough to tell people who make $80,000 a year what to do. You see what I'm saying? Can you imagine if somebody making $80 billion and you trying to tell them what to do? Nobody can tell Jerry Jones what to do, basically.
He gonna run his world how he wants to. Well, I respect that, Law. I feel bad for you average cats out there, you know what I'm saying? And, I just hope everything works out. That 10-6, that's a beautiful sight, you know what I'm saying? It can work out, So, just keep y'all fingers crossed. No black cats will come upon y'all Cowboys, and peace and blessings to y'all, Law Nation.
Appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in from the 817. That's a good call, actually, man. I think he said he's a Saints fan. Post down below again who you rooting for, and it is what it is. 682-214-4087 is the number. We're live on the Nation. We never sleep on the Nation. 720. What's good?
Oh, did I get through, man?
You live like 95. Talk to me.
What's up, man? I'm calling back from 720. I talked to you the other day about Sean Lee playing force and stuff.
Okay, cool. Couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, man. I just had a couple points about the game that really cleared my eyes today. I've been holding off on Jason Garrett, saying give him a chance. Let's see. He's not that bad a coach. I think after this game and all the games this season, he is what he is. He's not anything. He's not a bad coach.
Right.
He's a pretty good coach, but he's never going to be a great coach. He doesn't have that leader of men or that edge to put him ahead of the curve. He's just going to be middle of the pack or slightly above middle of the pack because he's a smart guy. But that's all he's ever going to be, I think.
And guess what? I think that people shouldn't look at that as a negative thing when they talk about Jason Garrett. It's nothing wrong with if that's your max peak, if that's your max situation, then that's your max situation. It's not like we can just force greatness inside of him. At this point, we look at 10 years and we can say, well, maybe if it's another 10 years, maybe he got a Super Bowl in there. But we can clearly look at the last 10 years, and a great coach may be possible within his 10 years. We would have at least had 2 Super Bowls. You see what I'm saying? Maybe in a bad coaching situation within these 10 years, we would have had several of first overall draft picks and third overall draft picks opposed to where we at. So it's an equal flow. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, I agree 100% with everything you just said. That's exactly what I'm saying. He the only result he's going to keep getting us is the result he's gotten us, unless he can change something. But he hasn't developed into that type of leader that's going to motivate the team to go the next level. He hasn't shown that he's never done it, and he hasn't shown that he's capable of doing it. So I think after watching tonight's game, I mean, we'll probably have a pretty decent rest of the season and go to the playoffs, but I don't think he's never gonna take us to the promised land like we want to go, like a Jimmy Johnson would, or a Parcells, or a Belichick type character.
Oh yeah. He's not gonna push us all the way over the top. And then on top of that, some people or some coaches are blessed to have those players to win in spite of. Barry Switzer of the world. You see what I'm saying? There's plenty of documentaries out there that the players said we had to win in spite of the coaching, you see.
Yeah, well, I would say that our team has to do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Another one of the points that I was going to bring up, and I'm not going to hog too much time, but I just had like 2 or 3 things that I wanted to talk about other than that. You can just tell by I've been like top ranked in Madden and like a couple different video games and stuff. And one thing that I've utilized, even playing poker and stuff, is the art of war. You always want to attack the opponent where they don't want to be attacked. You always want to keep them off balance and put them on their heels. With Jason Garrett's stubbornness to be balanced and run the ball, he doesn't take advantage of the opportunities. I feel like it's probably him because with the offense, I feel like it's him holding Kellen back with doing that type of art of war stuff, with always putting the opponent on their heels and attacking them where they don't want to be attacked, because he wants to keep so much balance and be stubborn. I feel like that's what's really been holding back our offense.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, it goes back to his saying, we do what we do best. And he feel like we got a physical offensive line. We got the best running back in the NFL. His 3rd and 2 or his 2nd and 2, we run the rock with him. I'll have to go back and look at the play and see whether or not it was an RPO play. But I guarantee you that what's been echoed is that we do what we do best.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing I kind of disagree with him on, though, because I don't think we're we ran the ball good in the first half, but they made some adjustments in the second half, and we couldn't run. The second half, I bet our rushing average was like half of what it was in the first half, if that. And he just kept wanting to do the same thing and not change it up and adapt to what they had adapted to, you know? He didn't. We came out with a strong like 1-2 punch, and then they had the counter for it in the second half, and then we didn't counter the counter. If you get what I'm saying.
I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good call, man. Really appreciate you.
I have one more point, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
The other thing was the same thing with the linebackers. They're just against the run up the middle. They are just blocking dummies, man. Jalen and LVE, they just get chewed up by blocks. And they put Sean Lee back at the force, like Sam Backer. And that's just not where he's meant to be. I feel like they need to put him at weak side, like I told you in the other call, and Leighton at strong, and that'll give our defense a a shot to stop the run up the middle, because they are not doing it the last few games when Sean Lee's not playing in the middle.
True that.
And yeah, that's all. That was the last point I had.
No. You're right on the money, man. Everybody, I really appreciate you for calling in, man. Really do.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing the show.
Anytime.
Keep watching. You have a good one, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nice call, man. Yeah, Sean Lee plays so much better inside as the mic or just anywhere in the middle of the field, pointing out and seeing what the team needs to do. And that's just a fantastic deal. 682-214-4087. Really appreciate you. Matthew White, really appreciate you for watching on the Facebook panel. Don't forget to hit that share button. Tell a neighbor, friend, foe where to go when they want to tune into Cowboys Sports Talk. Who else we have here? This one hurts. This is from Curtis Jordan. How about say Curtis Jordan? Curtis Joseph, man. Really appreciate you. Toot Robertson, man, what, you still up too? You trying to hang out with the nation too? Jew Gang, what's good with you, fam? Who else we have here? Really appreciate you all, man. Thank you all. Tavon Austin, being told the fair catch. Was that confirmed? Was he told to be saying, hey, it's a fair catch at this point? Yes, indeed. All right. Let me do this right quick. Really appreciate you all for tuning in. All right, so what I'm going to do is just bear with me for a few seconds. Got to hit this button here. And I will be right back. So give me a few seconds. Be right back. You guys missed me a little bit. All right, so with that being said, Cowboy Nation, really do appreciate you all for tuning in. Let me see, too, man, you're a soldier, man, for making that donation to help grow this thing. Phone lines are back open, man. 682-214-4087, man. Thank you for the donation to help grow the nation. After a loss like this, baby, I'm telling you all, man, who can sleep right now? Who can go to bed right now thinking about this loss? Not according to the Vikings. What's going on? Is this season done and over? No, we 5-4. We just above 500. We number one in our division. We got to win out. I think we still possible. I say that I look at 2 more losses on our belt from here. I don't know where those 2 losses are going to come from, but I think that we can leave off with being 10-6. But if not, at worst case scenario, 9-7 and crawling our ways back into this playoff chances. But my thing is, the issues with this team looks like it's not going to get fixed by the end of this year. It looks like it's going to take some off-season deals to fix this thing, unfortunately. Blue, what's good with you? He says Dak needs to outperform bad coaching, yes or no? I think that if you really look at it tonight, he performed pretty well, I mean, what else do we want Dak Prescott? Minus the last interception, which shouldn't go down, but 10 years from now and maybe 3 weeks from now, people are going to look at the stat sheet and say, he threw an interception, you see. And look at the total interception and not look at the quality of the interceptions, you see. And that just is how it goes. She's just like the Saints interception, it was like a Hail Mary Preeve. He was trying to throw the ball away down the field and it was picked off. But that's just how it goes as it relates to football talk. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes, man, when we start talking about the Dallas Cowboys stuff, man. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. 682-214-4087 if you have the energy, call in. Losing hurts my soul. Oh, man, Jeff, it hurts everybody's soul that's in here. Man, I don't think that if you won't be a passionate Cowboy fan right now if it's 300 and oh man, I think I lost my feed on my Facebook page. Facebook got a timer. Let me see if I can just go ahead and close that out. I think Facebook got a timer of how long you can live stream, and I'd overwent that deal there. Let me just go to Facebook and turn that one off. But I really appreciate those that was on my Facebook panel, man, that was live there. Let me just turn that off there. All right, let me see what we got over here calling. We got the 971. You're live, like 95. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How everything going your way?
I'm doing good. Just trying to calm down off this loss, man. Even though the defense, they got ran over, but I still think, man, I watch the game and I go back and look at it. I'm like, okay, if Dak turns and look to the right, he's down inside the red zone twice and doesn't look to the left. And we kicked that field goal, and it was 24-28. Dak looks to the left. He has Gallup wide open running the slant. I'm talking to the right. And that's a touchdown. And then the drive going down there, Dak keeps his head to the left. He doesn't look to the right. He doesn't scan the field. He picks his target, and he goes with it.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, dude, what's up? He looks to the right. Cobb is wide open underneath the slant for the first or possibly a touchdown. I've been seeing this all season. I mean, I love my boy, man, but he got to start scanning the field and looking to the right and the middle. And I don't know, man. You can go back and look at film, man, but, like I've been telling, who's your boy?
Okoye, Voch, yeah. Okoye,
Voch, yeah. So, man, these last drafts, man, for the last 5 years, I keep telling everybody, we really ain't been hit. We hit on 2 or 3 players, maybe 4. But, man, we've been messing up on D-tackle linebacker, man. And I'm going to go into it right now. This is going to get tough. These last 7 games we got left, right? This is Dak's get paid moment. They going to pay Dak, but he going to get paid what he need to get paid. And if he just look to the right and start taking underneath, he's depending on Zeke out the backfield too much to throw this little screen and all that when he's checking off. I mean, he's been playing phenomenal all this month, but he needs to start looking to the right. You can go back and look at film, man. Dude's wide open. But these next 6, 7 games, they tough. And if he can't get us, he may get us there. But it's going to be a lot of praying and a lot of worshiping. and if y'all got
some holy oil and some anointing oil.
Yeah, I'm going back to the Brookhaven, Mississippi days. If y'all got something else to do in your life, like go to work, hang out with your girlfriends, hang out with your friends, do it. Don't let this stress y'all out, because this team will stress you out every week. And if y'all let it get to you, and you know what? I don't see the bowl. I don't see the bowl this year. I don't see the bowl next year, maybe the year after when we get the defensive line fixed. But by that time, the offensive line going to be old. So it's going to take a lot of miracles. And I'm just venting my frustration like everybody else. I mean, I laid out here and I watched the game with my wife and everybody. I'm thinking, man, what am I getting into? Why am I getting so pumped up to watch these guys? Man, I love them, but like I said, man.
But it's one of those things where we don't like this team at all. We love this team, right?
Right.
And every time we turn on the TV, the 4-letter network, they're gonna talk about it. You're gonna have somebody like Stephen A. Smith who he get paid $10 million a year. He's no different than you and I, you know what I mean? But he paid $10 million to put his opinions out there that a lot of people value. And what will happen here is that he says that the Dallas Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen, right? Meaning that, like, I can guarantee you that the sun will shine this week, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be 100% right on that. Hopefully that the world don't end by tomorrow, you see. But that is the actual reality as it relates to football. Now, my thing is with the Dallas Cowboys, what's going to change from here to now, from here to next year? We got some stuff that's going to not change. It's going to have to take an off season for it to change. Benching Tristan Hill, a healthy scratch, that's not going to help us out no time soon. The situation where we continue to like to run the rock, that's fundamentally foundation built in within this team that they love to run the rock opposed to passing the ball. That's not going to change. Even though you said that the receivers was open with Dak Prescott going through his reads and progression, he's not going to pick that up just like this tomorrow. We are happy that he's doing what the level he's doing now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We gotta be happy with that. But at the same token, will it all the way click over? No. It won't all the way click over until like next year, 2 years from now, probably. But I can't look at this game and say, well, if Dak Prescott played better than what he exhibit out there today, then we win. I just can't look at it in those ways.
But I'm gonna tell you this.
Talk to me.
That graduated class, that when he got drafted, he's playing better than anybody that was drafted before him. I'm gonna say that. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. Like everybody said, Jason needs to be limited. I love him. But I don't love him enough to keep him out there the whole time. He's slowing us down. Yeah. And when you see that kind of production, you think, okay, why is he doing it? Is he trying to sell some tickets? Is he trying to get his jersey still bought? I don't care if he knows the offense. If he knows the offense for years, I don't care if he's trying to break records. He's good, but you got to play young. You got to win. What are we playing this game for? Like Mr. Herm Edwards says, what are we playing to win?
Win the game.
Look, I'm tired of losing. I've been with this team since '92. I'm tired of losing. And every time I turn the TV on, we losing. We get talked about. And it's like, should I pull myself away from this team? You know, I want to get up and watch them on Sundays. I got the Sunday ticket. I'm thinking of the teams. Look, I looked at the game tonight and I say, look, I can call out every play the Vikings has run. They're going to run the screen. They're going to run quick to the left, I called it. I call every play out. I wish I was the coach out there calling it. It's like everything that I call. I know they're gonna run this thing, and they took 2 shots. They took one down the sideline, and they took another one that's over the top one. Woozier looked around, but apparently he pushed him out of bounds, kind of, and he went out. And he didn't go out, but he was off, so he couldn't catch it. That one, the first one he caught it deep, and that was a good, magnificent comeback catch. That was twice. There was 2 times they took their shots, and I was like, we took one shot, and I'm thinking, we need a receiver. We need another receiver.
Oh no, come on, that you got Gallup. But here's the thing. Before I let you go, here's the thing, Chief. When you think about it like this Dallas Cowboys team, the moment you feel like throwing up everything and giving up on this team, the Philadelphia Eagles happen. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The Philadelphia Eagles game happened, and it brings you back closer. And then the moment, I'm literally the moment you feel like you're feeling good, you're feeling like you got on a good roll, you're feeling like everything you should be, you got getting in the right direction. The Jets game happened. You see.
Right.
So that's the life of a Cowboys. If I just to paint a picture for anybody, that's us. That's the reality of it. The moment we feel like giving up, the Eagles game happened, and the moment we feel like saying that, okay, we gonna talk some stuff, we ready to get on the roll, the Jets game happened. And
I'm gonna ask you one more question before you hang up, before I let you go. How many more games you think we got that we're gonna win with this schedule? We got 4 winning. We got 4 winning. We got 4 teams, but 4 or 5 winning teams have got winning records. I think 4.
I think
how many?
I think we win 10 games, regardless of we find ways to win
10
these
games.
10 games.
So 10-6, get to the playoffs.
10-6. We get to the playoff. My goal is for us to get to the playoff via the first game. You know, we shouldn't have a bye week or anything like that. I just don't want to see this team coming off of a bye and having a slow start. I've been preaching that for 2 years now. You know, and really before I started YouTube, I've been preaching that since Jason Garrett been the head coach, what have you. I never been a guy.
I'm gonna tell you one thing before I let you go. I'm gonna let you go after this. Only way we're gonna get to the playoffs if Jalen Smith steps his game up, come up and tackle.
True.
These things he got to come up and tackle, and we got to change the defensive fronts. I like the way the Vikings put their linebackers in the gaps and then let them rush. Zeke didn't do nothing. We didn't do none of that. We don't have that. If Jalen needs to step up, Jalen steps up these last 5 games or 6 games, we go to the playoffs and probably do well, but we need to see it. Okay, man.
Salute, bro. That's a good call, man. 971. Good call, man. Seems like he was emotional just like we all are, and it's just what it is. Shout out to you, Toot, man. He says, whoa, Law. Yes, indeed, man. Really appreciate you, Toot Robinson, man. Really appreciate you for making the donation earlier. Law thinks 10 games. Well, I do, man. I feel like we can figure out a way. I just feel it, but at the worst, it's going to be 9-7. And at the best, we can win these 10 games. We at least win 10 games. And trust me, the moment we feel like this team is trash, the moment we give up on this team, we see the Eagles game. We play inspired in a sense. And the moment we feel good about the team, we feel a little Jets situation going along. That's just how it goes, man. Unfortunately, that's how it's been for 10 years now or more. Yeah, can't believe he brought up Dak and Lamar at the same sentence. What are y'all talking about, Lamar? Yeah, I think Lamar's a dynamic guy. Yeah, I mean, he's playing lights out. But in order for Lamar Jackson to play the way he's playing, he has to have a system that believes in him. He doesn't do that if the system does not believe in him, if everybody is not believing in what he's doing. That's the difference. When you believe in somebody, when you put all of your love and adulations towards that person, then you'll give them the rock. You give them opportunity to do what they do best, right? There's no quarterback controversy with Lamar. They got rid of that quarterback, Joe Flacco. They put pieces in places. They said, okay, we need a wide receiver that can take the top off the defense. They went and got that for him. Oh, we needed a dynamic running back that can help you out in the pinch. They went and got a running back that wears number 21, who helps them out in the pinch. Their defense, their quarterback coach, or not just the quarterback coach, their head coach, is the type of guy that's not going to say, okay, we didn't execute well. No, he's the guy that's going to step up and put himself in front of the bullet and say that, hey, this coaching staff is not calling the defense right. Let me get this playbook. Oh, is there historical data out there showing that he did it before? Yes. And he's a Super Bowl caliber coach. He's not stuck in a old system. So that's what makes the Ravens better than the Dallas Cowboys at this point. They not going to fiddle-faddle around. Earl Thomas wanted this amount of money. We figure out ways to go buy him for this type of money. 502.
Earl Thomas wanted this amount of money.
Talk to me. Shout
What
out to
up,
you,
Law?
Blue. What's good with you? What's good with you, man? Talk to me.
Look, as diehard as a Cowboy fan as I am, and I'm talking since Tony Dorsett all the way through the triplets to the free agency changes, and I mean Parcells, Romo, T.O., and then the Garrett era. Man, I haven't seen this much talent squandered on a team by one coaching staff, or should I say by one coach. I don't think I've ever seen this at the NFL level. What you think?
Oh, my goodness. I can only imagine what Jimmy would do with this type of team, or Tom Landry what would do with this type of team. And, hell, as much as people ran Barry Switzer out, what he went? He went, 12-4, 12-4, 10-6, 6-10, and he was fired. Let that sink in, Cowboy Nation. And he had talent. And then I think that they went, there was a play-action pass away. Well, not play-action, PI pass away. Because I go to my grave and say that Deion Sanders, he PI'd Michael Irvin from going to the Super Bowl. You remember that? You know, good and well, he PI'd my guy Michael Irvin, and we would have been in the Super Bowl back to back. You see what I'm saying? Lord knows the talent on that team. The guys were playing and flying out to the ball, but we end up getting Deion Sanders the following year. We made it to the Super Bowl, but. Look at his rap sheet. Look at his record. You know, a lot of people, and I was going back and forth with a lot of Cowboy fans, you know, when I posted this on my Instagram, that they said that Barry Switzer never won anything, that he was coached up by a talent from, what I want to say, he was coached up by talent by using Jimmy Johnson people. But one thing that I can say is that Barry Switzer's resume speaks for himself, what he did out there in Oklahoma land. We never know what Jason Garrett would do with a college roster.
Well, that type of nepotism is why the team and, you know, the spectators / fan base is in the state that we're in. I mean, I could just give so many examples of, okay, yes, this Garrett is on the staff and he's part of the front office that has helped assemble the talent. So yes, on one hand, we give him props for that. But to me, what is unacceptable is he comes off to people that doesn't know him as very stubborn. You know, some of the smart people might call him a linear thinker and want to give him credit for that, but I can't really give him that credit. I watched what he done with a guy like Tashard Choice, who was not the flashiest guy as far as athleticism, but when Marion Barber was ailing, Tashard had really good games against Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and they had excellent defenses that year. But Garrett still wouldn't play him. He kept letting Romo throw, and put us in a hole. And then fast forward up to now. In 2016, when Dak had such a phenomenal year and Zeke had that year, okay, no one could predict the quarterback, your starting quarterback getting hurt.
Right.
But from a technical standpoint, just looking at it, not necessarily X's and O's, we had Ron Leary, Frederick, and Zach pretty much doing what we want to do, controlling and dominating for our zone running scheme. Okay, you say you don't want to pay Ron Leary. Look at the body type we eventually replaced him with. Not saying that he's going to be Ron Leary or going to be that caliber player, but Connor Williams' body type literally does not fit the scheme that we run. It doesn't. Because we don't get that same control and push. Look, that year in 2016, we played some good defenses. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, there were still remnants of Zim's defense in Cincinnati. Them boys was playing. They had the personnel, the scheme, and they were healthy. We pushed them around, and we pushed several other people around that year. But look at what we end up with. I think all of these not playing people to their capabilities and not scheming in a way that benefits us, I really do think that's predicated on bad coaching. Not terrible coaching, but bad coaching. Coaching is that important in the NFL game, along with personnel and top flight or top rate quarterback play. Because our quarterback, he has stepped it up this year.
Right. He did. He stepped it up, and he showed everybody, hey, I can learn on the fly. I can pick up things if needed to be. So you're right on the money. And then coaching is one thing. A lot of time people fail to realize development is another, and putting people in. And you got to see some type of trust out of players. Not saying that Jason Garrett never developed nobody, but we got what we call this right here. We got coaching on one aspect of it. We got development on the other side of it. And then we also have what we call a coaching tree, per se. Meaning that I know that it's only been 10 years with Coach Garrett, but we should see some offsprings of his philosophy. You see what I'm saying? Like Bill Parcells have a tree. I've got to say Jimmy Johnson have a tree, per se. You see what I'm saying? These good coaches, Bill Belichick got a tree, coaching tree. People that spawn off of him. You see what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm wrong on that.
I mean, to as a football fan first, we have to call a spade a spade. Jason Garrett, however brilliant his mind is behind the scenes, he did not make his bones and cut his teeth in a way that he would have any type of roots to be able to grow any type of coaching tree.
Right.
He was foisted upon us, the spectators / fan base, the crazies. But he just, I mean, look at it. Let's be all the way fair. If you have a healthy Tony Romo, a healthy Jason Witten, a healthy Terrell Owens, why can't you score 35 points in your sleep? And that was not the case with this man at the advent of his coaching career.
True.
It's kind of like a parallel with the Barry Switzer thing. Barry Switzer did make his bones in college, but when he came to the pro, he was working and coaching players that he didn't build. True. Those were Jimmy and Jerry's players. But looking at Garrett, he's dealing with Parcells built that team, and we could say about Phillips not being head coach material, but look at what Garrett did with them. How many times will we be watching and thinking to ourselves, okay, Tony Romo is still growing, but why aren't they putting certain players in motion? Why does it look like on the field they're doing the same thing and only really being able to flourish when they just flat out play inferior people or when they just flat out whoop their man. Wow. You got a healthy Jason Witten, agile Tony Romo, and Terrell Owens, and you still have a stagnant offense. And then look at what our owner went and did. And I'm not just beating the dead horse on water under the bridge that we can't, as far as what happened in the past. But this is showing a pathology here. Instead of us going out and getting a nose tackle to replace Ferguson, instead of playing Ratliff out of position, what do? We go get Roy Williams.
The wide receiver.
Just stuff like that has been plaguing the Dallas Cowboys, and as much as I hate to say it, Stephen A. says it for personal reasons and for ratings, but he is right. Anybody with a football eye can clearly see that the Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. But it's not an accident. It's more so, it's intentional because it's insanity. It's a failure to self-scout and look in the mirror and say, all right, if I really want to do this, if we really want to be winners, what does it take? We know better than that.
Man, you're speaking nothing but the truth, man. I really appreciate you for calling in from the 502, man. Boy, they got so much facts. They can eat off of that for a while, man. I really appreciate you, brother.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the content, bro.
Salute. And he's right on the money, man. And when you talk about narcissism or nepotism or cronyism, those are two words that you guys can look up and see about this team. And I pulled up, I want to pull up the facts room right quick. And I'm not saying that Barry Switzer was the best thing since sliced bread, but he did earn his keeps. This is his head coaching record as it relates to college. Boy, I would have loved for Jason Garrett to earn a little bit in college. There's something about learning how to win per se, opposed to just trying to learn on the fly or learn on the slide or whatever. In 1973, Switzer, he went 10-0, lost the game there, but 7-0 in his conference. In 1974, he went 11-0. 75, he went 11-1. 76, he went 9-2. 1977, he went 10-2. 78, 11-1, 11-1, 10-2. What is going on through this process, Cowboy Nation? Learning how to win, learning how to make their adjustments, learning how to delegate. All of this stuff goes on a long way. In 82, 8-4, 83, 8-4, 84, 9-2-1, 85, 11-1, 86, 11-1. 87, 11-1, and 88, 9-3. Now, this is all in college. Of course, you can't say, well, he did it in the college area. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just found our ways to win. Maybe his leadership, maybe his delegation power to the nation is good. Because you can't just tell me, just throw anybody out there and they would have done the same. No, he have a ingrown philosophy. And then when you look at 1994, 12-4, I know some people right now in the chat box will love to say that the 1994 Dallas Cowboys is pretty much, we got the same level of talent. I don't care if you can look at it from A to Z, but if you look at it, 1994, 12-4, look at the winning percentage, first place in the NFC. We can talk about it back and forward about this was Jimmy Johnson players, but still, as the head coach, everything rests and falls on the head coach. In 1995, 12-4. You see what I'm saying? And of course, that's the year we got down on it. And of course, this loss right here really gets on my nerve, the 1994 situation. But then in 1996, 10-6, and then 1997, 6-10, and he was given the boot. You guys see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that we saying that Barry Switzer was the best thing since sliced bread, but he was the last coach to get us here. He was the coach that we ushered out was the last coach to get us here. You see what I'm saying? So we got to go back to the historical data and let me know how much of a difference is Jerry Jones is going to say to himself of a Barry Switzer versus a Jason Garrett led team. How much of a difference do you guys see? Would you rather for Jason Garrett to go to college, win a few games there, win a conference, win a championship? Maybe we can put some wins on his back and say to ourselves, man, he earned his little position. Maybe he'll be respected. Maybe he can recall and say, hey, I remembered in 1979 when we was the second and 2. I knew what better to be run off of that. History sometimes repeat itself and will show its face at you. But people would like to argue with facts. Look, you can put stats out there, but you can't take away these wins. You can't take away these losses in win-loss categories. You can talk about stats all day, but in the end of the day, this man gonna go in his grave with this in his record book as it relates to Oklahoma. Yes, this is gonna go as his accrements, as his grain of salt that he earned. But when you are giving something and you have yet to earn this right here, you don't appreciate it the same. You don't look at it the same way. You don't feel the same way with it, you see, when it's given to you opposed to you earning it. That's all I'm saying. And maybe the way the universe, the football gods look at it and say, well, hell, we're going to make sure he get him at least a Super Bowl ring. Yes. And let me see if I can pull up something else with Barry Switzer. We're going to go to imaging right here. And it was told to me that Jerry Jones pretty much snatched the trophy around. This is the crazy thing about this. This was the last time Jerry Jones touched the Super Bowl. That was the last time. This was the last time. Look at him. It was the last time he touched the Super Bowl was with this guy. So that's what it shows us, And I hate to say that, but that's just the reality of it, Cowboy Nation. The last time Jerry Jones touched the Super Bowl and trophy, so that's just how it goes, man. I wish I could make things up, but this guy, it was the last time. The last time. So that just goes to show you, man. No, we shouldn't go get no Marvin Lewis though. No. We shouldn't get that. We shouldn't go for that. You know what I mean, Cowboy Nation. All right, so I'm gonna take a few more calls and then we're gonna get on out of here though. I'm gonna pull up the phone deal and open up the phone lines again. And really appreciate you all, especially those who got vampire blood like I do. And we sleep during the daytime and stuff like that, right? Zeke clearly had a hangover. Barry is near Jerry's age. Yeah, he is. I think did they play together in college together? Let me know. Educate the nation, man. No, Jason Garrett is Marvin. Oh, okay. Yeah. Remember, Antronell Roll was a bad corner who became a good safety. Yeah. 682-214-4087 is the phone number. If you are still live and if you're still up, just give me a call and we'll wrap this thing up. One more call. Y'all know the whole offensive line, tight end in front of them. Yeah, we do. Who else we have here? Cheeto don't have his hips of a cornerback. Man, y'all talk about my guy Cheeto real bad, man. Barry also made his 225. You're live. What's good?
What's up, Law? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm going to try to not be as emotional as I was last time when I called. This is Troy from BR again, man.
BR again, okay. You the last caller of the night, man. Talk to me.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to try to be more less emotional. I just want to get My take on the game is when I see Dak Prescott going down the field, I've heard people call and say Dak should have looked to the right more than he looked to the left. Dak had a great game. Dak moved the Dallas Cowboys from the 6-yard line in the final 3 minutes of the game down the field. And then you take him out of this element. You decide in the final 2 plays to take the ball out your cornerback's hands, who have been moving the ball down the field, and try to run the ball through a brick wall when you should have realized by then you cannot run the ball through a brick wall. And it makes me wonder if Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett are on the same page. Why would you take the ball out of a man's hands who is showing he is a field general on the field when he or she gives you your best opportunity to win the game?
Well, I got a great scenario for you on that. It's the inverse, actually. You remember Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
Mm-hmm.
At the goal line.
At the goal line. And we need to understand that although Pete Carroll, as a head coach compared to a Jason Garrett, give me Pete Carroll any day, especially with this particular roster that we have. I can only imagine what he would do. But, of course, you got still Jerry Jones, who wanted his footprints or fingerprints all over everything. But it's the exact same opposite, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. No facts with this. It's just that sometimes when I looked at the All or Nothing, I looked at it several times. I watched several episodes several times, of course, because I was uploading it up on YouTube at one point too, so I had to watch it several times. This team, they do a lot of showboating. They do a lot of chauvinist, and they like to show up the opposition, meaning that they wanted Daz Bryant to get this record. And I recall that they wanted Tony Romo to get a certain record. And trust me, I don't know what's going on now. They probably want Dak Prescott to get a certain record, but they probably wanted Ezekiel Elliott to make a statement, make his statement, make his mark that he can outrush Dalvin Cook. And it didn't happen.
Have opportunities. You're going to have another opportunity to do that in the playoffs. You need to win the game now.
Right.
And running the ball up a brick wall, trying to run up against the brick wall, is not going to work.
Right.
You took the game out of the man's hand who was winning you the game. A man who you say you want to see produce, you can pay him. He was giving you numbers so you could pay him, and you took the game out of his hand.
True.
And you lost the game.
Lost it.
And if that's Kellen or if that's on Jason, if they need to get on the same page, because the game they got to a slow start on both offense and defense.
Yeah.
And you can't keep doing that. So
most certainly can't. But we will see how this team can wake up and maybe they can strap back in and say, okay, we're going to put the knives away and we're going to utilize the weapons that we should have and show the world that we are the Dallas Cowboys, and maybe, just maybe.
This team is too talented.
As
Skip Bayless like to say, they're going to have to outplay their coach.
Yeah, they are. But man, I really appreciate you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, man.
And
keep up the work.
All right, and you have a good day and a better tomorrow.
You too.
Salute. All right, Cowboy Nation. I'm exhausted. I'm tired right now. Maybe I can give me an hour worth of sleep, and we can look at some film and stuff like that. That's been all the time that I have for this beautiful morning now. There's no Victory Monday, and I'm off tomorrow, so I'm just going to really sit back and probably watch the game 2 more times on the 30-minute deal without the commercials and all that, and I can see what I can pick up from there. Let me know. It's up to you all that's been with me since the start of this thing. Let me know which films that you guys would like to see first, and I'll try to jump on that real quick. Let me know what you all would like to see. That's in the chat box. What film that you would like to see? 1 or 2 plays. Film session is going to be anywhere from 3-4 minute max. I don't do 12-minute film sessions anymore. So let me know which film session you guys would like to see. Is it the toe touch from Amari Cooper? Is it the running plays from Ezekiel Elliott? Is it the Dak Prescott passing? Is the defense? Let me know what you guys would like to see, and we'll break that down first thing in the morning. And good night, everybody, or good morning for you all that's watching, or good afternoon for those who are in different areas. Really appreciate you all. Let me just give a quick shout out to all of the people right quick that made the donations, man, that helped grow the nation, man. I really appreciate you all, man, especially we live for 3 hours, going on 4 hours. Boy, man. Shout out to JD, Scott, Mike, Standalone Complex, Eddie B, Q, Gregory, Darren Davis, really appreciate you. Benny Blaze, Daniel, Shane, Stevens, George, Toot, Blue, for several times, man. Blue, you like one of the sponsors of this show. I really appreciate you all for tuning in to the nation. That's all the time that I have for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. And remember, you all are listening in to nothing but the best. Let's go. Prize fighter continue to fight, right? Even when he's down. Keep your head high, Cowboy Nation. Always keep your head high. Don't look down. I feel bad. Yes, I get mad too. It's good to be emotional. Let's go. We out.